All right, welcome race fans once again here to Virtual Racing Network. Of course, tonight this is the Northwest Truck Series. Whether you're joining us on just the YouTube page or if you're on the YouTube side on iRacing Live, welcome once again to Virtual Racing Network. We have about 11 drivers, but we still have at least 4 or 5 more coming in here in just a little bit that are still doing some practicing on personal servers. So we will have a good size field here coming up. But, of course, before we get into all of the details for the race tonight, we want to go over tonight's sponsors. Of course, VRN coming on board this season for Season 2 here in 2018 for the Northwest Truck Series. And, of course, the main sponsor here for this series, that is Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm. Make sure you check them out at wallsbeardco.com, especially here in the month of November, as it is No Shave November, so you need to take care of that beard. Again, that's wallsbeardco.com to pick you up some of that natural, all natural, and organic product today. Northwest Racing Series themselves, they are the official one-to-go sponsor here for tonight's race. When you see the white flag waving, it is one lap to go. It is presented by Northwest Racing Series. Ohio IndyCar League, if you're looking to get into some IndyCar racing here on iRacing, there's no better place to go than Ohio IndyCar League. Make sure you check them out on Facebook for all the latest information at facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League. SimSpeedShop.com, your one-stop shop for custom-made button boxes and e-brakes. Make sure you check them out if you are an iRacer. These are 2 must-need items, especially if you're into rallycross racing with an ever-expanding list. You definitely are going to want one of those e-brakes, so again, check them out at SimSpeedShop.com. And, of course, last but not least, that is iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, your sim race broadcast graphic source. They are the official graphics house of VRN, currently working on the overlays as we speak, as we have new features to debut here tonight for this Northwest Truck Series race. As always, we try to debut them here on Wednesday night. We're glad to have Jason Allison on board, so if you're looking to get into broadcasting or just need some overlays for streaming, head on over to ibog.co and get a hold of Jason Allison today and get started. That being said, here we have a special guest here in the booth with us. We haven't had him in the booth in quite some time, and he has actually got his mic muted at the moment, so we'll see if he gets that unmuted here in a minute, as we'll introduce him as soon as he does. But a very special guest that we just haven't had in the booth in quite some time. But again, we'll introduce him here in just a minute, as he has stepped away for the moment. But this, of course, is Pocono Raceway. We currently have only 3 turns here at this track. It's a different track. It's the Tricky Triangle. 2.5 miles. We have 90 laps here tonight, so it is going to be a very long race, but I think it'll go mostly caution-free here tonight. Our air temp, of course, is 78 degrees, track temp 86 degrees, and it looks like we do have him here with us, so we'll go ahead and introduce our second chair here for tonight. We haven't had him here a long time. That is KR Stolfus, fresh off another broadcast. So KR, welcome to the booth. Once again, it's been a while.
It has been a while, and thank you very much for having me out here for these guys in the Northwest. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to be here at Pocono and the trucks, and I do apologize for my lateness. It appears that you have to join the league to, do a broadcast, so I'm a little late to the party as we were doing last-minute stuff, so thank you for waiting for me patiently.
Oh, no problem. You know, when you have a big event like tonight, you got to bring in the A-team, and for almost 2 seasons, one for the Xfinity and one for the trucks, you were here on board with us, and it only seemed fitting to get you back in here. Again, you got to get the A-team in here, because we have a lot of information to go over here tonight. I have all of that pulled up here, so we can go over. Again, it looks like Sean Brightsman is here, and he is one of them that is in a predicament here tonight. So what good news for him is we'll pull this up very fast if we can find it. There it is right there. We lost it. Sean Brightsman was one of them. If he starts the race, he's in the chase. Meanwhile, we got Mark Walls, Brian Bennett, and Jeff Stabnow that are locked into the chase based on their wins. But there are a lot of drivers here tonight that are not necessarily locked in.
Yeah, if you're not locked in, if you're looking at the outside in, a win here is going to be very, very important for you. It kind of solidifies and makes you get every chance you can. You gotta be winning. That's all I'm really trying to say.
Yeah, you definitely do. And speaking of that, we have the playouts. If they were started right now, if this race was a playoff race and not a race to get into the playoffs, drivers like Josh Coley, Brian Barnes, Chris White, and Steve Silstad, they would already be in here. They would be in the chase. And right now, they're just right there. And we have a few other drivers. You got drivers like Corey Walters, John Ottenbacher that need to have good finishes here tonight. And you can actually see this. I don't know, KR, if you we just don't have that information. If you go to the Northwest Facebook page, you can find this graph that we're looking at. We downloaded it off their website, but we can also send it to you. But again, you're the racer side while we're sending this information over to you. As the racer side of things, what is this track like? Obviously, it's called the Tricky Triangle for a reason.
This track is known for being 3 very distinct corners. What that means is at no point in time do you have the same braking point or the same feel down a straightaway that you would on the other side of the track. Each corner has its own unique braking point, its own unique feel, and that creates, instead of 2 corners that you battle through, now you're going to battle through 3 of them. And it's all about getting that run up off the corner. You can drive in hard here, but you're going to give up so much speed down the straightaway. We're going to see really who can enter these corners gently and get off of them like a bear.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have their work cut out for them here tonight. Josh Cushman, currently the fastest driver here in the session. I know in the practice earlier this week, we stopped by there. We're just chilling in the booth. And Steve Stilstad, I believe, was the fastest yesterday in practice. So we'll see right now. He's currently 4th fastest, as some of your fast drivers like Mark Walls, Sean Breitzman, John Ottenbacher, and Jeff Stabnow, Brian Barnes a little further back. These guys haven't probably put in any qualifying time. And the big difference may only be how much tape they put on there, as of course you being the driver's side, and anyone that out there that may race here on iRacing, and even in real life, when you go out there to qualify, you may put 80% tape or more on there just to get as much speed out of that truck as you can, but you definitely do not want to forget to take that tape off before you go to the race, and adjust your fuel as well, or you very well could be in the pits pretty soon.
Yeah, that tape, very, very important for qualifying and very important to remove for the race. If you don't remove it, your engine temps are going to skyrocket quickly, and in about 2 laps, it is going to start dinging at you, blinking at you, or detonate at you. You better hope it's not the last one, because if you can get to pit road, get that fixed before she blows, you still got a chance to salvage your race. This track is so big, you can make a pit stop here and not go a lap down.
Yeah, and this track is one of those, while it's technically 2.5 miles, they don't really characterize this track, we'll get it out there, as a super speedway. However, as long as these straights are here, the 2 that are here anyway, you can get some drafting going on. So if you're bunched up like that, that is definitely not good if you have too much tape, and those drivers will have to account for that as well, to not put too much tape on, knowing that they're probably going to be in a group of trucks here, and that it could get a little warmer than it normally would. But to go back over that graph one more time here that we have, as we sent that over to you, The drivers that really are in a predicament here tonight are drivers like Josh Cushman, who is our fastest driver, Ryan Maines, Ray Fournier, Tom Green, Andy Vogt, Gary Nichols. These guys, if they can get a win tonight by some chance, they have a good chance of being in here. So there's a lot on the line. Obviously, the chase starts what would be next week. We're actually going to be doing a special edition show where we talk to those drivers, but we're actually starting the chase with an off week because of Thanksgiving. So hopefully these drivers will make weight limit after Thanksgiving. I know I probably will need a stair lift to get into the booth.
Man, I'll tell you, this series never ceases to maximize the entertainment value. They always have got some crazy thing going on in some way or another. And I have missed being here in the booth with these guys. And I'll tell you, this race at Pocono in the trucks is going to be one of those that really lets all that excitement come out. We got so much, as you said, we got drivers who are trying to get into the chase. They have to win to do it. And so they're going to be desperate. They're going to be doing whatever they can to win because it's very important to these guys to win that chase. You got 3 drivers who are already for sure locked in. Maybe a 4th one. Shouldn't be any reason why Sean Brightsman doesn't start, but you never know. Things could happen. And all that is being covered here tonight on VRN.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully Sean Brightsman makes it. He is here. So, again, all he has to do is start this race to get those points. If he doesn't, for some reason, he would be out, and because that would be the rule here is if you miss 3 races and are not in the top 16 after tonight, that of course eliminates you from this. So if you have a win anyway, like he does, if you have a win, you have to be in the top 16 in points, and you cannot miss more than 3 races. I believe he has missed 3, so this would be his 4th one if he doesn't make it. So he is here. That's good news for him. But there is a lot of stuff to follow here tonight to determine who is going to be in, who's going to be out, and we'll try to get that information out as quickly as possible. As it looks like right now, we got about 14 drivers here. We'll probably see 1 or 2 more come in throughout tonight. But a smaller fields. We've been seeing some pretty good-sized fields here tonight. Pocono's tricky, and you get later in the season when the chase does start, and the fields do kind of dwindle a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is sim racing. We do this for recreation for the most part. You get some guys who are hardcore dedicated, but you will see some drivers who are here to try and win a championship and only win that championship. And when they realize that is not going to happen, they do tend to back away. And that happens in every league across the entire iRacing forum. But that does not detract from the quality drivers that are out here in this league. And what a great show we're going to have tonight.
Yeah, definitely going to be a good show. And, I talked a little bit earlier that Steve Silstad was the fastest in practice yesterday, their final practice anyway. And here he is once again at the top with the 51.489. And that's what I wanted to get to here is the lap times. This track nearly takes a minute to get around. Again, it's not technically a super speedway, but it is big enough to be one. It could rival Daytona or Talladega very easily in size, just not shape. It looks more like 2 boomerangs put end to end more than a super speedway. But it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top here, because we have not seen Josh Cushman as far up as he is right now. He's second fastest. He gets in there in the top 5, but I don't recall seeing him in the top 2 here in practice very often. So he's took a little bit of a break, and he come back, and he's slowly getting back to the top of this, and he may put it in victory lane here tonight.
I'm right now watching the 77 of Tom Green. I know I for some reason I'm drawn to this number. This guy's got a great number. So Tom Green, I I'm going to be watching him.
Well, definitely someone to watch, and I believe if we look at that chart one more fast, he is one of them. I thought. Yep, there he is, Thomas Green in here, but we go to Tom Green. He is one of them that if he could get the win here tonight, he has a chance of being in the chase here. So he's somebody we have to watch. Definitely Josh Cushman. And then, of course, we really have to keep a very close eye on those 4 drivers, Josh Coley, Brian Barnes, Chris White, Steve Silstad, and then to that other battle, Corey Walters and John Ottenbacher. So we have to keep an eye on them as Josh Childress is going to show up here now to the track. So, again, I talked about there will be more drivers coming in here throughout the night. Or throughout practice here. We only have about 4 minutes left. As I'm surprised to see that Jason Berg is not here. He is one very fast driver. And if he's here, he has a chance to win this race.
Winning this race is going to be hard because you've really got to manage your tires. You got to manage everything. And Jason Berg, with that shot at it, has got to be here to pull that off. But even though he's got that shot, a caution, an ill-timed caution could ruin everything he has planned.
It very well could. And that's the question again. Being up here in the booth, we can predict all we want, but you really don't know how many cautions we're going to have. Being that this is Pocono, it's a big track, and with about 15 or so drivers here, the question is, how many cautions will we have? Will we have any cautions at all? Those are the kind of questions that we won't know till we get racing. But being that this track, the tricky triangle aside, I don't foresee us having too many cautions. These drivers are really good. And they're possibly going to get spread out a little bit, and I don't see us having too many cautions, if any, here tonight.
Yeah, getting spread out on this track really does limit the number of cautions that you will have, but a driver can get into trouble all on his own out here. Very, very easy, as I mentioned earlier, to overdrive a corner, maybe cook that right front, push it a little too hard, one too many times, bounce off the wall, and go for a spin, especially through the tunnel turn.
Yeah, you definitely could. That outside wall claims more victims than you care to. These drivers definitely don't want to think about that outside wall. As again, it is a little bit of a problem child coming out of these corners, like you were just talking about. We have 1:50 left on the clock. That, of course, means it is time for one thing, and that is the national anthem. So we will be right back after the national anthem with qualifying, and we'll let you know where everyone's going to stack up. And then we will get to your starting grid presented by Walls Beard Co. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is underway, and fortunately, nobody's out on the track yet, so we'll have to give them a minute to go out there. I figured somebody would be out on the track, but so far, nobody is coming out, so we'll go ahead and pull your qualifying here up onto the screen. But again, nobody out on the track at the moment here. They do have 10 minutes to go out, so no surprise that some of these drivers are going to hold off and wait. Some people like to see what other people put in to determine how much tape they're going to put on their truck. But if everybody does that, it's not really going to work for anybody.
Yeah, when in doubt, do what everyone else does.
That's what I'm going with here tonight. Do what everybody else does. I would imagine you're going to see at least 75-80% tape on here because you only need to complete 2 laps. So if that's all you have to do, you can easily get away with that as long as you're by yourself. This was open qual. I don't know if I'd do it, but you've been out there qualifying in these. If you're doing a 2-run lap for qualifying, how much tape are you going to put on there?
Personally, I'm not much of a crew chief in these trucks, and I don't run a whole lot of tape because I'm not smart enough to pull tape off. So I just go out, turn my laps in qualifying, and let the dice fall where they may. Then I go out in the race and just work with what I got at that point.
Well, that is definitely a valid strategy there. Just run your race setup and see where you stack up. We do have quite a few drivers out here now. It looks like we're following the 13 of Ryan Maines. And we, of course, do have Steve Silstad out there, or he's fixing to be. Chris White, John Ottenbacher, Josh Childers, Jeff Stadnow, Mark Walls fixing to, Brett Johnson. So everybody's actually starting to come out onto the track now to go ahead and put laps in. So nobody is going to hold off much longer. They're going to stay out there.
Yeah, Ryan Maines in the 13. He is hard into the wall here after just taking the green flag. So that 13 machine already resetting a car and already down 1 lap in qualifying.
He is indeed. So that is not what you want to see here, is to go down. As we'll switch over to Steve Silstad, who is out on the track as well. Again, he was the fastest in practice, or final practice, yesterday. And he so far was the fastest out here in this practice. But it's going to be John Ottenbacher at the top right now with a 52.081 on his first lap. So we'll see what kind of times everybody else puts in. Will it be faster than John Ottenbacher here tonight?
John with a great lap has the pole position for now. Steve Silstad in the 45 working his way through turn 1. I think that was turn 1. No, sorry, that was the tunnel turn.
See.
I'm really confused. I got into that corner at the wrong time.
This is a very interesting track here when it comes to corners here. Ryan Maines out on the track as well. So we'll just have to wait and see as Jeff Stabnow is going to take it to the top of the charts here in qualifying with a 51.632, so a very fast time for him.
And Steve Silstad in the 45 is going to top him with a 51.494. First driver to get into the 4s here. Brett Johnson going to slide into second place with a 51.585.
Indeed, he is one of our drivers that is a chase driver at the moment, so he does have a win on the season. Again, that will be officially finalized at the end or after the completion of tonight's race, as Steve Silstad is going to take it to the top with a 51.494. So this could get interesting. We got a lot of fast drivers. Josh Cushman is currently putting it into the outside wall, has not put in a official time yet. Corey Walters out, as well as Sean Brightsman. So again, he has to start, and he's in. He's doing a good job. He's here for qualifying, so only one more stage left.
Sean Brightsman in that nice yellow and black truck, looking very steady, very smooth. Be interested to see where he lays down a qualifying time at, and just how hard he is going to push this thing, knowing that he is only got a start, and he is in the chase. However, I have a feeling, like most drivers, that red mist is going to settle in when the green flag drops. That means you got to win.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what you're really here to do, is get the win. You don't care about, second place, third place. It's all about the win here tonight. That's where you really are focused on, and that's where he wants. Chris White currently in 5th place in a 00 with a 51.963. So we'll check in with him. Josh Cushman still out on the track. Mark Wall's out on the track as well. So he's one of them that is officially locked in. He definitely cannot go any further down. He's just here for the win, and that's all that's really on the line for him. So the other one is Brian Bennett in the 71. So 2 drivers that are qualifying right now. Really, they're just out here for a Sunday drive trying to get that win.
Sunday drives with no pressure, getting after a win. I'll tell you what, makes for a good time, especially at a fun track like Pocono.
It does make for a fun time. As some people really like this track, so others don't like it at all. It really just depends on what your thoughts are on this track, if you like it or not. And that really goes to how you finish here. If you finish good, you probably like it. If you don't finish good, probably not so much. So, people's feelings on the track based on performance here. Things could change after this race is over if someone likes it or dislikes it.
Yeah. Regardless, they're all still behind the steering wheel. The steering wheel's still going to beat all these drivers across the start-finish line.
That is very true. As Brian Bennett going to take it to 11th with a 52.561. As we'll see, again, Mark Walls took it to 6th place with a 51.855. Josh Childress, one of the only drivers, actually the only drivers, he's going to put it into the outside wall in that 37 machine. He is the only driver currently on the track that hasn't put in a time, and he's not going to put it in on that lap.
Brian Bennett, currently in 11th in the 71 machine, is out there turning a lap, trying to figure out what he needs to do to get a little bit faster around here. This is one of the tracks where you don't go out and attack it. You actually want to, for your first laps out here at Pocono, you want to go slow. And you want to build up speed instead of just going wide open into a corner and seeing what you can do. You actually want to learn how to drive this thing while you go slow.
Yeah, you definitely do. So we'll go ahead and get rid of your driver bar off the screen. As, again, the drivers that are out there currently aren't anyone. They're just drivers that are taking a few extra laps here. Everyone has officially done their laps here. As we'll switch to, of course, Sean Breitzman and Brian Bennett out there just running in an extra few laps. But so far, Josh Coley, Tom Green, Dan West Jr., Brian Barnes have not gone out. Of course, Josh Childress did, but got into the outside wall and was able to complete his lap.
Just about a minute left in qualifying here, and Steve Sealstad looks like he is going to nail down this pole position, as it takes just over a minute to get your truck out on the track and up to speed. So I don't think anyone's going to be able to turn a qualifying time.
I don't either. Is 45 seconds left to go. We'll go ahead and get rid of your qualifying there, and we'll go ahead and pull up your main session state here. As this is the thank you for your service 225 here at Pocono Raceway. Again, for veterans that have served. Obviously, we appreciate what you did for us here so we can be doing what we're doing here tonight. And it looks like... Go ahead.
I was going to say, it. Watching that timer click down takes forever in like the final minute. Ever notice that?
That it does. It's, that anticipation of getting to the grid and getting racing going. It just seems to drag out forever. But it is over now, as we have 16 drivers that have made it to the race here tonight, and they are getting ready to hit to the grid. So we'll go ahead and get down to our Walls Beard Co. starting grid. Is one thing I just absolutely love, the way these cars start here on the track. Since there's only 16 here tonight, I will go ahead and run through our grid for us. Again, this is the Walls Beard Co. starting grid here for tonight. Row 1 is going to be the 45 of Steve Silstad, and on his outside is going to be the 7 of Brett Johnson. Row 2 is going to be the 95 of Josh Cushman and the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. Row 3 is going to be the 13 of Ryan Maines and the 48 of Mark Walls. Row 4 is going to be the 00 of Chris White and the 89 of John Ottenbacher. Row 5 is going to be the 9 of Corey Walters and the 46 of Sean Breitzman. Row 6 is going to be the 71 of Brian Bennett and the 4 of Brian Barnes. Row 7 is going to be the 33 of Josh Coley and the 37 of Josh Childress. So interesting, 2 Brians and 2 Joshes on row 6 and row 7. Row 8 is going to be the 55 of Dan West Jr. and the 77 of Tom Green. That will do it here for your Walls Beard Co. starting grid. And again, very interesting to see 2 Bryans and then 2 Joshes on row 6 and row 7.
Not very often you see duplicates like that.
Yeah, it is very odd to see something like that. We see it a little bit in here, but not too terribly often. But it is a definite oddity to see that, especially on 2 different rows. That makes it even stranger. But hopefully everybody's enjoying the race here, as we are getting ready for some just outstanding racing coming up. Here in about 1 lap, as of course this is a 2.5 mile track. 90 laps around this track is what we have set for today, and of course 225 miles.
Long race for these trucks. It is going to be an exciting time. We're going to see these drivers really get after it when that green flag drops. This long straightaway and then the hard left turn into turn 1. You got to survive turn 1 if you're going to survive the rest of the race.
That you do indeed. And we're keeping a close eye on the race here tonight to see if we're getting any pixelation here, as it looks like we are getting a little. We have been fighting that here for the last week or so. I believe it's going to come down to us having to call and get a new router here at VRN to see if we can get that fixed up. But it doesn't look too bad at the moment, so hopefully it stays that way. So we do apologize for that. We are still working on it. Green flag, though, is in the air, as it's going to be Steve Silstad that is on the gas pedal. And actually, it looks like he maybe missed the shear there, or gear.
Yeah, Steve. Oh, and we got one that has blown an engine immediately. One car already has blown an engine. That is Corey Walters in the 9. That engine let go before he even made it into turn number 1.
And we talked about it here, that you cannot leave that qualifying tape on there, as that is probably just what happened there. He probably forgot to change his tape, and there's nothing you can do about it that early. Again, I don't think there was any contact that would have caused that either. However, the 45 of Steve Silstad, our pole sitter here, did not go, and there goes the 89 going around. John Ottenbacher around, Chris White around. Caution at number 1 is out here on lap number 1. So let's go back and take a quick look. What happened between these two? Obviously some contact was made. We'll see here. And all seemed well here for the 89 of John Ottenbacher. I'm just not sure exactly what happened as he goes into the corner, and looks like, I'm not sure, maybe you can see from your angle, did the 00 Chris White get into him? Or was it just a double spin at almost the exact same time?
You know, when you see something like that and it's not looking like they're going to make contact and yet both cars react as if they did, got to wonder what iRacing did to them. All conspiracy theory, Illuminati stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And there was contact there as the 00 got into the back of the 89. Whether the 89 was slowing down or what happened there, they did make contact to bring out caution number 1. Of course, we will go ahead and go back to live here. I don't expect anyone to come down pit road, at least not this early.
No, there's no reason to come down pit road as early as this is, unless you got some damage. Might see some of those guys hit pit road, but we do have a few drivers peeling off now. Not sure what they're going to try and do, but maybe 4 tires they feel is the way to go.
That'd be interesting. Jeff Stabnow being one of those. Obviously, we had another truck smoking there.
Josh Cushman in the 95.
I don't know what he got into, and actually, is it him? Yeah, it isn't him. I thought maybe it was a 00 for a second, but something obviously happening to him, but he's going to use his fast repair, so he'll be back and running. But Mark Walls will be your new race leader here at the moment in that number 48 machine. Again, he's one that already has a win, so he has really no need to win this race other than the fact that he just wants to win it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you want to win every race you enter. Nothing wrong with that.
Definitely nothing wrong with that. And we're getting reports that the 95 smashed into Otto during that spin. We just missed that one. So the 95 did have contact in that. He was involved in that caution as well. I kind of figured he was. I just couldn't figure out where. But that would put 3 drivers involved in it. The 00 Chris White, the 95 of Josh Cushman, and of course the 89 of John Ottenbacher, both of which them two are sitting in 7th and 8th right now, so they didn't get hurt too terribly bad, where Chris White is back in 13th right now. And to update, Dan West Jr. did not start the race.
15 drivers making it out here tonight. Corey Walters blowing his engine, missing a shift down the straightaway. So all I can think that would pop that engine that soon was a missed shift. Unfortunately for him, he did not make it into turn number 1. And it looks like he has already decided to call it a night.
Yeah, he's been sitting there. And according to mine, he's coming back out onto the track for the 9 of Corey Walters.
Oh, I missed that. I apologize.
So he is coming back. However, he is 1 lap down now, as it looks like he may be getting the wave around, or got a wave around. So he's going to have 1 lap back. The good news for him really is the fact that if you're going to miss a shift early in the race, that's the key. Early. He did it early in the race. He has a chance to still try and get his other lap back and be in contention for this race. However, the downside is he has used one of his fast repairs.
Yeah, you don't want to use a fast repair on the opening lap of a 90-lap race here at Pocono. Now you have to really be on the defensive and take care of your equipment. Even if you get caught up in someone else's mess, you're done for the night.
Yeah, you definitely are. And that is the last thing you want, especially when chase implications are on the line. So it'll be interesting to see how everyone plays this. We do know they can make it about 33 laps on fuel, too. We didn't even get a chance to talk about that. But we know they can make it 33 laps on fuel. Now that's going to shake things up. I would have thought they would have probably come in around lap 30 or so. and broke this into lap 30, lap 60, and had 3 laps to spare on that last one. However, with this caution coming out, that shakes things up for some of our guys. However, your top 6 drivers did not come down pit road.
No pit stops needed for them. We'll see how this race plays out. Any number of things can affect the strategy. Green flag is out as the 48 of Mark Walls gets onto the loud pedal and gets away cleanly. He's going to have a nice little gap down into turn 1.
He is indeed, and we'll see just how big it is when they come into the corner, as there he goes flying into the first corner with a nice little sizable lead. And right behind him, of course, is going to be the 13 of Ryan Maines, followed by Brett Johnson and Steve Silstad and Josh Childress sitting in currently 5th place. So a lot of very fast drivers are in the top 5 right now. We're going to go a little ways back here, as we're already seeing drivers that didn't take tires are starting to fall back. Tom Green has lost a spot from 6th to 7th, and now Brett Johnson has lost a spot as well. So tires may be a big key
One
here.
into the wall. The field scatters at the back of the pack. I believe that was Brian Bennett in the 71. I could be mistaken. Maybe Josh Coley. Trying to figure out who that was.
That's a good question there. It looked like a green truck to me, and that may have been the 71 of Brian Bennett that did smack that wall there. So definitely, not something you want to see. And we're getting reports it was the 33. So again, we told you earlier that the outside wall would be a bit of a problem, and indeed, it is starting to be one here tonight.
Yeah, coming off that corner, he just got loose, got into the wall, and then the drivers behind him had to scatter, and nobody got into the back of him. Everyone got through that cleanly, except for the 33. As he's got a little bit of damage to the right front, he is going to feel that here in these long Pocono straightaways.
He definitely is. And, we're going to go to the front here, check in right now. No such luck for the 13 of Ryan Maines. He's unable to catch up to your race leader at the moment. As we'll zoom in here as close as we can to these guys to see. But there is your race leader, the 48 of Mark Walls. But not much of a battle going on between these guys. But there's the caution out once again, and it's for Jeff Stabnow this time.
Jeff Stabnow in trouble here. Stabnow, not someone that usually gets into trouble. Be anxious to watch this replay, see what happens.
It definitely will be, as we're going back here about 40 seconds or so. See exactly what happened to Jeff Stabnow as we're watching the replay. And was there contact between him and the 00 of Chris White? And no, he just got loose all on his own and hammers the inside wall hard. Oh, that is definitely not what he wanted to see.
No, that 24 machine heavily mangled, as he does use a fast repair on his pit stop. He's going to get back out there. We're not even 10 laps in to our 90 lap race. One fast repair available to these drivers, and several of them have already had to use it.
They definitely have, as we currently have Mark Walls leading. We'll go ahead and pull your top 5 up real quick here, as there it is, your top 5 after 7 laps completed. It is the 48 of Mark Walls, the 13 of Ryan Maines, the 45 of Steve Silstad, the 4 of Brian Barnes, and the 37 of Josh Childress. Those are your top 5 drivers after 7 laps completed, as we are getting ready. And it looks like everybody's coming down pit road this time, except for we may have one taker that's going to stay out here. And I believe it's a lap car, so it's not going to matter anyway.
Corey Walters in the 9 gonna take the wave around here, but Mark Walls and every other driver out here on pit road. So the race off pit road's gonna be one that determines how this restart is gonna go.
It is indeed, and we'll go back here and check on pit road as everybody is on pit road, and I don't see anybody having to back up or go forward, so it looks like solid stops for everybody here. We'll see, of course, if anybody gets a speeding penalty, as that would be addressed later. No, it looks like nobody got caught speeding coming into pit road, though, as everyone running roughly 14 to 15.2 second pit stops, so it looks like clean stops for everyone.
Clean stops for everyone. Steve Steelstad wins the race off pit road. Mark Walls gonna come out second, and Brian Barnes in the 4 machine, your third place driver now.
Well, this could get very interesting here, as we'll look at this chart real fast that we have. Brian Barnes, I believe he is one of them that he would be in the chase if it had started tonight. So he needs to have a good run here. Brett Johnson, currently, I believe he's red, so he is out because of the fact he's missed more than 3 races, I do believe, because he's obviously higher enough in the points. So he may have missed more than 3 races, if that is correct anyway, if that's how we're reading it. So he is actually out of the chase. So Corey Walters, John Ottenbacher, those two have a very good battle going on, and we'll see how it all plays out, as John Ottenbacher currently in 11th and Corey Walters in 14th, but he is back on the lead lap once again, and that's exactly what he needed.
And Corey Walters in the 9. He is going to make his pit stop now that he is on the lead lap. Is going to be starting tail end of the longest line, though. However, that is a small price to pay for getting back on the lead lap here this early on. He's going to have about 80 laps to work some magic, try and get this 9 machine up to the front.
Yeah, and the question is, can he do it? He's definitely a fast enough driver that I think he could probably get away with it. Oh, we'll just have to kind of wait and see at this point, as it is a wait-and-see game. We are on lap 10 of 90, so we have 80 laps to go when we get to the line. We're still under caution, so we are going to go ahead and step away for a quick commercial break, and we will be right back here in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on lap 11. We're going back green flag racing here to start lap 12 as they are in turn 3, and you'll see coming up here in a minute on the wall, it's going to say turn 4 question mark. There is no turn 4. So they're going to come out of turn 3 and get this thing going one more time. As there it is, still turn 3, turn 4 question mark written on the wall, or actually says what turn 4 question mark. Green flag is back in the air, and we are racing one more time here at Pocono Raceway here on the Virtual Racing Network. And it's been a decent race so far. We've seen some good battles in between these cautions. As a little bit of contact there between looks like Josh Childress and Brian Barnes, but they keep it going here on lap 12.
John Brightsman losing a little bit of ground, trying to work his way through the field. He is in the chase just by virtue of taking the green flag, but right now he is in 8th place.
He is indeed sitting back in 8th place. Right ahead of him is Chris White in 7th, and he is all over his back bumper. He may take it to the inside and see if he can get by him. And it's not going to happen, but Chris White now to the back bumper of the 7 of Brett Johnson, who is trying to get it. And again, remember, Brett Johnson eliminated from the chase. While he is in the top and he does have a win, he has missed more than 3 races, so he is mathematically, I guess not mathematically, he's just rule eliminated, I guess you would go by, as he has missed more than 3, and that is against the rules. So he is not here for the chase, even though he does have a win. So it's going to be interesting to see how hard he battles the rest of these guys that are trying to get into the chase.
Want to check in on Corey Walters in a kind of a tough situation for Walters.
Oh, sorry to cut you off. We got the 37 going around. That is Josh Childress going around. So while we're watching that, we'll let you finish up what you were saying about Corey Walters.
Just want to point out, he's in a tough situation. A good finish could get him in. A win will get him in. So far, he's taken advantage of getting back on that lead lap.
He is indeed, and with these guys spinning here and wrecking, that 37 of Josh Childress scrapes the outside wall there. As we'll see, that didn't cause him to wreck, though. As there he is getting loose, coming out of the corner once again in turn 2. That is almost identical to the same spot we saw Jeff Stabnow in that 24 get loose. So obviously turn 2 coming out is going to be a bit of a problem spot for these drivers.
Yeah, that tunnel turn, when you drive it in there hard, you're going to put a lot of wheel into it. You try to get back into the throttle to recover lost time from actually driving in too hard. You have to get that machine slowed down and then crank a lot of wheel into it, and then you get back into the throttle, and that truck just gets upset when you roll back into the throttle with all that wheel put into it, and these things are just letting go.
They are indeed. And while we have a moment here, let's pull Jeff Stabnow down real quick and get a quick word in with him, even though he wasn't involved in
random fucking number for a
well, he was apparently mid-conversation. We do apologize for that, as he probably didn't expect us to pull him down. But he's coming down pit road anyway, probably, so we'll let him finish his pit stop here, as they're all sorts of mixing it up right now.
Yeah, mixed up is definitely how you want to handle this one. We got some drivers staying out. Mark Walls, Ryan Maines, Brett Johnson, those 3 drivers have stayed out. Jeff Stabnow, even though he is stuck 1 lap down, he is not going to pit yet due to he cannot pit when the lap leaders do. We'll see how this works out for him. He's not going to be able to take a wave around here, so we will might as well hit pit road when it comes around to his time.
Yeah, and we'll see. We might try to get him in here in a minute. We may send him a message to see if he is clear to come down, as we were just hearing some race chatter there. Sometimes it can get a little intense, to say the least. as we're getting notes that he is good, so we'll bring him back down. Jeff Stabnow, you got a copy.
Yeah. Were you? Did you move me in the middle of my tirade there, man?
I believe we got you there. We listened in on some of your radio chatter there. As, we explained can get a little heated sometimes. Apparently,
I am so sorry. I had no idea I was going to get moved.
well, that is technically on us. We pulled you down here, even though you weren't involved in that caution. We wanted to talk to you for a minute here, as we saw you self-spin there in turn 2, and then the 37 of Josh Childress did the exact same thing, literally repeated what you did, almost spot for spot there, just perfectly. So I wanted to talk to you just for a minute. How treacherous is that turn 2 coming out of that corner?
Well, it's I think it depends on your set. You can first couple laps, if you hit the line right, you can go full throttle through there. And if you have to lift, I mean, there's about a 2 or 3 tenths second difference. But on my spin, I was inside Chris White, so I was on the inside, so I couldn't run the width there. And I just tried to give him too much room. I figured it was early in the race, and I didn't need to be rubbing his doors there. And so I caught a little bit of apron and went around, and then, as you probably heard, I got some penalty for passing under yellow that cost me 57 seconds to stop and hold under green. So now I'm a lap down.
Well, we did hear the tail end of that conversation over race radio there, but hopefully you can get that lap back here, as we've seen a few cautions. I thought we wouldn't see quite a few this early, but Pocono is the tricky triangle for a reason. So that being said, obviously, we have our long time friend KR Stolfus here in the booth. We haven't had him in quite some time. We're going to hand it over to him. KR, do you have any questions for Jeff here?
Jeff, that 24 machine already used a fast repair. You're trapped one lap down. How do you handle the situation that you find yourself in right now, and have you figured out what Latin for tires is?
Well, first of all, Latin for tires is sorry, Mama Stabnow, for the language that you probably just heard on the broadcast. And I'm in the playoffs, right? I'm just really racing for a bonus point, so it's kind of checkers and wreckers for me here tonight. So we'll just run through the field here. I'm not going to take it super easy. Obviously, I'll try to keep the truck in one piece, but I'm going to try to get up front and win this thing. So either that or we'll have a short night.
All right, Jeff. Man, I'll tell you what, bring me the steering wheel or bring me a trophy. Either one sounds good.
Checkers and records, buddy. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
All right. Again, that was the 24 Jeff Stabnow, as we will go get rid of our onboard here and go to our main camera. Obviously, having a little dispute, I guess you could say, with the race officials, which technically is him. So, but the other race officials, the one that actually run this lobby once he gets started, not the actual league admins, but the actual race control, the iRacing steward, I guess you could say, having a little bit of a heated conversation with them over the radio.
Yeah, racing is full of emotions. When you're behind the wheel, your adrenaline is so high, controlling your emotions becomes incredibly difficult. And from time to time, drivers have been known to have a tirade, to throw a fit, do any number of things that they normally wouldn't do.
It would. I will say this for that radio chatter we got there. I think we spiked in viewers there for a split second. So obviously the fans out there like the emotion that you see here. Obviously, it didn't mean to come out. We kind of pulled him down and got him on the radio, but it happens. Sometimes it's unforeseeable, and you just can't help it. But what we can help is when this green flag comes back out, and that is going to be on the next lap here to start lap 18.
It is when the green flag comes out, we're going to unleash these trucks once again. We have had a little bit of a heavy caution period here. We are only on lap 20, working our third caution. But these guys will get it figured out. They'll get on the loud pedal. That pace car I believe it's the Ford Mustang's fault. And here we go. The 48 of Mark Walls getting onto the throttle. The 13 of Ryan Maines tucking in right behind him.
He is indeed going to tuck in behind him. Brett Johnson behind him, and Mark Walls is going to slide up to the outside lane. That's where he wants to be for the restart. And he's doing a good job at it. Brian Barnes sitting back there, Steve Silstad back there. Those two are side by side, currently battling for fourth position. And it is just a good battle going on. But you got to go a little ways back here, and you got another little battle going on. And that is the driver that we talked about early in this race, downshifting and blowing the engine. He is used that fast repair, and look at him battling for ninth position as he's going to try to get by Sean Breitzman. But Breitzman's able to hold him off at the moment.
Holding them off for now. Meanwhile, Mark Walls under heavy pressure from the 13 of Ryan Maines. Ryan had a great run on him coming through turn 2, but it looks like Mark Walls got off of turn 3 very well and had a great run down the straightaway.
He definitely did. And we're going to go up just a little bit to this other group battling here. Look at this. You got side-by-side battles going on. The 45-7, the 00 and the 4. They were side-by-side. They've kind of sorted it out. But, I kind of figured they would sit spread out here. But they're really not doing that. They're staying together pretty good as the 00 of Chris White tries to get to the inside of the 4 of Brian Barnes. But everybody actually staying pretty close together there as Josh Coley gets a huge run on the 00 of Chris White.
Chris White caught up in our first caution going around with John Ottenbacher. But here he is battling back up through the field. Ottenbacher not making up as much ground as Chris White. Ottenbacher hanging back in 11th place right now.
He is indeed. Jeff Stabnow is currently, again, we just talked to him, the only driver not on the lead lap. He obviously would like to get that back, but he is stuck in 15th right now. Of course, one lap down. Josh Childress just in front of him in 14th has heavy damage, and you can just see that 37 getting loose coming out of the corner.
Now, that 37 machine really has got a lot of damage throughout that whole left side. I can't recall if he has already used a fast repair or not, but if he's holding on to a later stage of the race to use that fast repair, he's got to find a little bit more speed. Otherwise, he's going to end up a lap down.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I'm not sure if he indeed has used a fast repair or not. Thinking maybe he has, but we just saw another driver, I believe that was the 7 of Brett Johnson, scrape that wall just a little bit as that outside turn wall is really a huge problem for these drivers here tonight coming out of that corner. We've seen more drivers than not scrape it or bump it, and it's so far caused a few cautions, as we'll pull that up very quickly here. 3 cautions for 8 laps. We've had 2 different lead changes here tonight, as we forgot to put that back up there. We'll put it back on the top there for you. There you go. You can see it there as well. 2 lead changes. Your fastest lap here is Mark Walls with a 52.157, and he is currently your race leader here at the moment.
Mark Walls in the 48 is your race leader. Ryan Maines in the 13 machine tucked in to second spot. And in third place, Steve Seelstad, who was our pole sitter, but did not get the great start he needed and has been battling back, trying to find a way to the front. Won the race off pit road. Here he is now back in third and looking to make a move on the 13.
He is indeed trying to make something happen, and we want to apologize here again for the pixelation. We are still fighting this here tonight, as we have the exact same settings that we had in the prior race, and it is doing it here again. So we've got to figure out what it is. We're going to be trying some more stuff in our days off here in the next 2 days, as those are some good downtime for us. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. Obviously, we want to point out real fast here that stay tuned for the upcoming next Wednesday. This series is off as you're watching your lead group here. They are off next Wednesday, obviously thanks to Thanksgiving, so we get to stuff our faces for a little bit. But meanwhile, before then, we are actually going to be working on a video where we're going to be talking to these top 8 drivers that are in the chase, putting up some highlight clips from some of the racing that's going on here in the first 12 weeks. So we got a cool little video we're working on that we're going to put out, so definitely stay tuned for that. On the off day, we'll be pushing that out next Wednesday. But something cool we're going to do here for the series. And it has been a great race. We're glad to have, of course, you here in the booth with us, KR, for this race to finish off the main season before we get to the playoffs.
Oh, man, I am excited to be here, and I do appreciate you dragging me along, kicking and screaming. This is way past my bedtime, but I'm glad to be a part of these Northwest Truck Series once again, and couldn't be more honored to do it as they close out the regular season.
And he was not kidding about the kicking and screaming. He really was. So we have footage of that as well. We may have to play that here in a minute during a caution. But just an outstanding race here, as it looks like the 46 of Sean Brightsman is going to lose the spot here to Chris White in that 00 machine. And we've had some changes with numbers here too this season, as I'm sure you remember from last season. Chris White being the 35. Then you had, of course, someone like Mark Walls that used to be the 29. He's now the 48. So some numbers have changed, but it's still the same drivers, as Mark Walls has a significant lead at the moment.
Mark Wells does have a significant lead. The 4 of Brian Barnes digging down underneath the 44 of Steve Sealstad. He's going to make the pass. Sealstad going to wash up way up high, lose a lot of ground as he is getting freight train right now. Going to lose 3 spots in one corner.
He is indeed, and that is a really good group of trucks right there and drivers. You have that group, and then you have to go quite a ways back here to see. There is the next little group back with Corey Walters, Tom Green, Jeff Stabnow back in this group. So that group has kind of fallen off a little bit. But that first group, you basically have the back group, the core group, and then Mark Walls somewhere up in the front. So this is your main group you're watching right here. And this consists of, as the 4 is going around, no caution so far.
The 45 is spinning of Steve Sealstad. That is going to bring out the caution. And we are back under yellow here again, but we did get a bit of a tire run in there. I expect to see a lot of drivers hit pit road.
I do indeed expect them to come down as well. Let's go back and take a look, see what happened to the 45. But we do know this all started with the 4, Brian Barnes. As we'll go to a different camera angle here. I think the 4 just got loose. I don't think he had any contact. But we'll definitely be looking to see what happened. Maybe he did from the 46.
Brian Barnes, a little bit of contact, but looked like those guys were just racing hard. Barnes trying to come down, and the 46 is Steve Sealstad, Sean Brightsman. Maybe just couldn't hold his line. Not sure. Little hard to tell right there, but regardless, Sealstad is going to go around trying to dodge their crash.
He is indeed. So Steve Sealstad getting the worst end of the deal, as we'll go back to live. And so far, so good. We'll see who all comes down at pit road, who stays out, as we will know all of that here shortly. And getting reports. A little bit of net code from the 46 to the 4. Again, we have kind of an in-race spy, if you will, that can zoom in on that kind of stuff and let us know. But getting the report, a little net code between 46 and 4 is what caused that. But we are under caution here once again. As soon as everybody comes down pit road, we'll step away to a quick commercial break. But this is pretty much a sure thing. Everybody except one truck is coming down pit road, and of course that is Jeff Stabnow, who's going to get his lap back.
Def will get his lap back by virtue of Lucky Dog, and then he will make his pit stop, and all 15 drivers who have started the race will still be out there and still be on the lead lap.
Yeah, and it looks like Ryan Main's going to have to back up just a little bit, but he will get into his pit stall. Your pole sitter, the 45 of Steve Stillstad, going to be the last one on pit road. He has the first pit stall, though, as it's not going to matter. He was far enough behind that even having that number one pit stall is not going to help him any here, as it's going to be Mark Walls that comes out in front of everybody. He's now led 22 laps, and it looks like pretty good stops for everybody here tonight, about 15 or so seconds. So we'll step away to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The lights are off on the pace cars. We're in the last corner, which is turn 3. So, again, still hard to wrap your mind around that we only have 3 turns here, as there it is coming up onto the wall right about there. It's going to say, what turn 4? Because there is no turn 4. It's the tricky triangle here at Pocono Raceway. We're on lap 30 of 90, going to be 31 when they come to the line. We're officially a third of the way done with this race. The question is, how many more cautions will we have, and will we have any more at all? I think we will. We've had 2 different lead changes, but still, Mark Walls has the fastest lap of this race.
Fastest lap of the race, fastest truck so far, as he is out front, but he right now has a competitor right behind him. That is the 00 of Chris White, as Chris White peeking down to his inside. Not really making a move just yet, but he is letting him know, hey, I am here.
Yeah, and just looking at that ourselves, the 4, Brian Barnes having a little bit of a connection issue. It looks like maybe he has it sorted out now, but he was blinking there on that restart pretty good. Again, it looks like for the most part he's got it settled here. We'll see everybody coming out of turn 3 there, and you saw just how close they get to this wall. You know, if you had a passenger in that seat there, if there was a seat there technically, they get so close to this wall coming out of turn 3, you could probably reach out and touch the wall with your hand. However, I wouldn't recommend it because you probably would lose your hand, but you could, as a caution comes out once again for Josh Childress in the 37.
Josh Childress, that 37 machine, getting a little bit more damage, a little bit more wadded up. Actually, I don't think he hit anything. That 37 just went for a self-spin.
Yeah, we're watching the replay now, and we'll see, but I think you're right. He drives it in real hot into the corner there, and coming out of the corner, he just gets it. Oh, he does get a little damage. I'm not sure who that was. Maybe the 77? It was the 77 of Tom Green. Barely nicked him as he tried to avoid him at the last second and couldn't do it. So a self-spin from the 37, and then the 37 and the 77 just barely nicking him and spinning him around even more.
A little bit of contact never hurt.
Yeah, it never hurt him. We'll just put some character in the car. So it goes around and then gets help from the 77 as we're under caution here once again on lap 33 of 90. Mark Wall's pretty dominant run here tonight, who has led 27 laps. So hopefully they're not in team radio here. You want to see if we can pull the 48 down here real fast, and we'll take a quick word with him, as I seriously doubt they're going to go in for pit stops.
And broadcast booth live.
Mark Walls, you got a copy?
10-4.
Well, hopefully we didn't catch you in like we did Jeff. But right now we're on lap 33. We've had a few cautions here tonight. But at the moment, you are leading this race. You led 27 laps, well more than anybody else here tonight. So how is that truck handling? I know you spent several days building this car, tuning on it, getting it the way you liked. So how's it running, and what's the tire wear like out there?
Yeah, this Walls Beard Co. number 48 Chevy Silverado, man. We unloaded good Saturday when we unloaded the truck, and it clicked ever since. We definitely put some practice runs in on it, some fuel runs to see what it would do, and it's a rocket ship. We just got to play the track position right.
Oh, definitely, we're watching you have a great run out there. As always, you're already locked into the playoffs or the chase coming in 2 weeks. So first off, let's get aside from the racing here as we see drivers coming down pit road. You're not, but we want to get off the racing subjects here. You have an off week coming up, so other than probably like I'm going to be doing, and I know KR is, other than stuffing your face with lots of food, are you going to be doing any practicing during that off week for the upcoming race, for the first race in the playoffs?
Most definitely. I think Wicked Chassis is on par with what we're doing, and we got a game plan for next week. We're definitely going to put some work in. We got the chase, so we want to come out swinging and be strong in that first round to advance us.
Well, we definitely are looking forward to it. And since same thing with Jeff, we haven't had KR in the booth, so we'll hand it over to KR to see if he's got any questions for you.
Man, Mark, that 48 machine you're running here, that truck looks very sharp. What was your inspiration for that paint scheme?
Yeah, you know what? Jimmy Johnson's always been my driver, even before he started winning all the championships. And with that hated, so to speak, when he won all those championships, I decided to run a different number. The number was kind of outplayed, but now it's time. I think he's getting close to the end of his career, so I'm going to represent Jimmy and run the 48 from here on out.
Well, that 48 looking very sharp, looking like it doesn't have a whole lot of damage. You feel like you need to get right up against the wall to be fast here, or you just kind of respecting it and giving it lots of room?
You know what, I'm not too sure. I find that I can get a little bit more speed running up against the wall, but at the same time, it's a magnet, so there's a very fine line. And you don't want to push it too much because aero matters big time here.
All right, Mark Walls, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And lights have gone out on the pace car, so we'll let you get back to it.
10-4, thanks, guys.
All right. Well, that was the 48 of Mark Walls. As we'll go ahead and get rid of the on board here. We'll go back to our main camera. As if, there we go, we can get to it. It seems like a good time here to shut these mics off for a minute and just let these trucks do the talking and do a little crank it up here. As I know, KR, you love a little crank it up, and I know the fans like to crank it up here. So it seems like a good time. As we also have Chrissy Ottenbacher in the chat with us now too. So why not? Let's shut those mics off and let's do some crank it up here. right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as we have a caution out on the track as we were just getting ready to come back from the Crank It Up as the 71 of Brian Bennett. It looks like that truck is obliterated here, so let's go back and take a look as what happened. Oh, well, did he have contact as he gets stuck into the water barrels there? Let's go back and take a look at that one more time. Go back to the instant replay. We're going to go to a different camera angle. Was there contact between him and the 13 of Ryan Maines, or did he self-spin? I think there was probably some contact there.
Looks like a little bit of contact, but Brian Bennett did get a little loose coming off the corner, and then Ryan Maines finished him off for sure.
He did. So getting a little loose and then a slight touch. And why not? Let's go back to the instant replay here to Brian Bennett. And let's go on board with him. As you'll see the wiggle coming up here in a minute. And then we want to see he just gets stuck into the water barrels there. As I didn't see any water go flying anywhere. So I'm a little disappointed in that. But right in there, there's the wiggle, and there he goes around and then just hammers right into those barrels, and that will do it for him. He will have to tow, and unfortunately that is going to mean that he is going to have a long time sitting on pit road, so that's unfortunate. But we are under caution once again as we'll go back to live. Everybody coming down pit road except for Corey Walters in the 9. He is opting to stay out.
Corey Walters making a big gamble here as the 48 hits his pit box cleanly. Several other drivers cleanly into their pit stalls as well. Want to point out John Ottenbacher made a spirited run before this caution. He was up into second place. Now it looks like he's going to come off pit road deep into this running order. Looks like 5th place, maybe even 6th.
Yeah, it's showing 6 on my end here, as I had a little connection issue there going on, but it looks like it is sorted out now. And yes, that was instant death for the 71 of Brian Bennett as he got a little wiggle. And I'm not sure if Brian Bennett is in here that we can talk to him. Let's see if he is indeed. He is with us, so let's pull him up here real quick, see if we can't get a quick word with him while he is on pit road. I'll grab him and bring him up here real quick. That is if I can get it. There we go. Brian Bennett, you got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing?
Well, first off, it's probably not the way you wanted to be in the booth here talking to us, but we saw you get a little bit of a wiggle coming out of the corner, and then, of course, got a little help there from the driver behind you. I forgot who it was now, but how was that truck handling there? As we've seen quite a few drivers get a little loose in the corner there.
The truck feels good. Yeah, I got a little loose, but I was under control. You know, just the guy behind kept in it, stayed aggressive, and finished me off. So it's all good.
Well, it stinks to have you here in the booth this way. Hopefully you're back out on the track now so we can get that lap back. I think the cautions we've had, I think your odds of getting that lap back are pretty good. So that is the good news for you. As far as those water barrels go, I'm a little disappointed we didn't see any water go flying. But what was that like hitting those? Because that was a just about an instant stop as soon as you hit them.
Well, you know, I was kind of wondering if I would back it into pit lane, 'cause I couldn't see where I was going. It was out the side of my screen, so I was just along for the ride, and I thought I might shoot down pit lane backwards or something, get an unsafe pit entry. No dice.
Oh,
They need to work on that. That would be something to have water flying everywhere.
That it would be cool to see, but it looks like you all are about ready to go racing, so we'll let you go and hopefully get that lap back, and maybe we'll talk to you here with better circumstances next time.
Yes, sir. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon, hopefully from the podium, baby.
There we go. That is where we want to be. Again, that was, if we can get him back to his channel, there we go. Give me. That was the 71 of Brian Bennett. And pulling up our graph real fast, I believe he is one of them he is. So he is actually locked into the chase. So we will be talking to him, whether it's tonight or during that little video we're going to be making of the top driver. So regardless, one day soon we will be talking to him as he is locked into the chase. So good news for him, he doesn't have much to lose.
Not a whole lot to lose, but everything to gain if he can get back on the lead lap and win this thing. Be a great comeback story. Lights are out on the pace car. Corey Walters in the 9 working on his own comeback story. After popping the engine the first time, green flag is out. No engine pop here. That 9 machine getting onto the throttle down the front straightaway into turn number 1. He's going to go with the 24 of Jeff Stabnow right behind him.
He is indeed. And again, we're import the 48 and the 48 and the 89 4 tires, as we do have some that did take 2 tires, like Brett Johnson, only 2 tires on that last stop to get it up there, and he's already getting passed by the 48 of Mark Walls. So 2 tires may not be the call here tonight. Obviously, KR bringing in the racing expert side of things. If you were out there knowing how this track is, 2 tires, 4 tires, which one are you taking? Especially as we're not quite at the halfway point.
I'm taking 4 tires here in the early stages. I might gamble on a 2-tire stop at the end of a race, but here at this point, man, got to have 4 tires here at Pocono.
Yeah, definitely, I think agree. 4 tires would be the way to go if I was out there. Right now, as it looks like Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow teammates side by side for the lead, as it's going to be the 48 of Mark Walls that does get it. However, Jeff Stabnow was able to lead 1 lap here, and I can promise you this right now, those 2 battling for that position of first between teammates, it may look like he let Jeff lead a lap. Trust me, that is not the case. He earned it. Mark Walls is not going to let him just lead a lap, because obviously at the end of the day they're teammates, but they're both running for the championship, and every bonus point is going to be good as somebody's going around. Caution is out.
Chris White and the 00 has gone around on the front stretch.
Let's go back and take a quick look and see what happened to him, as we'll go to our main replay camera here, and we're getting to see if he had contact. No, into the outside wall. He did have a little bump from the 95, and then the 45, he's kind of sideswiped him, but that all initiated from Chris White just getting into the outside wall. Yet again, another driver collecting, leaving their mark on that outside turn 3 wall.
Yeah, the corner exits here at Pocono are so hard. I mentioned it in the pre-race show, especially the tunnel turn. You really get a lot of throttle down trying to roll through these corners, and that outside wall can really suck you in very quickly.
It can indeed, and it has done it several times here tonight. I don't see anyone coming down pit road, so we're going to step away to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here, and we will go racing one more time here in just a few moments. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and any ideas there? I'm not sure what they're doing on the front stretch there. As they're all dodging somebody, and it looks like maybe the 48 of Mark Walls has a little bit of damage to his car now. Yeah, so hard to see on that side of the car, or the truck in this case, as it's, we just don't always see that side. But interesting there, they just all having a little, interesting little, I don't know what you'd call it, on the front straightaway there, or the front stretch. But 4 drivers here, no, 5 drivers stayed out, so why not? Let's go ahead and pull. So we'll go ahead and put that up real quick, and we'll pull up your top 5 here after 44 laps completed. It is the 48 of Mark Walls, the 24 of Jeff Stabnow, the 46 of Sean Breisman, the 89 of John Ottenbacher, and the 37 of Josh Childress. Those are your top 5 drivers after 44 laps completed. And this isn't just the top 5 now. This is very notable because these are the top 5, the only 5 that did not come down pit road this last time. So very interesting that these particular drivers did not come down and take tires. So currently only 7 laps on the tires, with about 5 of those under green flag conditions. So that's going to be interesting to see how they stack up against the rest of this field with fresh tires. Yeah, and to note here too, just got this information handed to us there, so we'll relay it as well. Didn't even really pay too close attention to it. That other than Dan West Jr., who did not start this race, with the 71 of Brian Bennett getting the lucky dog, every single driver is on the lead lap right now. So that is definitely very good for these drivers. That every single one of them's on the lead lap. That means every pass is for a position right now. So nobody's safe out there. If somebody's passing you, it is for a position. It's not just a lap car that is potentially faster than you. Yeah, you definitely can. And surprisingly enough, here is we didn't expect this at all. You see the 4 of Brian Barnes coming down pit road here. I'm wondering, I bet you he's going to get a splash of fuel here. We'll see. He is on there for 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. So no, he is getting tires on the right side. There's left side tires. So getting tires here with 1 to go, he is really going to have to book it to get to the back of this field before we go green. He is indeed. We should see him coming into the picture. There he is right there, as he will come into the picture. So he'll catch them easily. Like you said, it's a big track as we are getting ready to start lap number 48. So soon we will be on lap 50. So there you do the math. That's 60, 70, 80, 90. We will have 40 laps to go at that point. taking a little bit here. This is a long race, as 90 laps at Pocono can take quite some time. But if they can get into a groove here, we'll be running roughly a lap a minute. Once they get into that groove, we've had one already. I believe it was 17 laps was our longest green flag stint. We'll see if they can beat that here tonight. I think they will, and we'll get a long green flag run here towards the end of this race. And that is 3 teammates in a row. Actually, 4 teammates. They're all 4 right now. Mark Wall, Sean Brightsman, Jeff Stabnow, and now it's Josh Childress, but it was John Ottenbacher. So right now, podium finish would be 1, 2, 3 for Wicked Chassis Racing if they can hang on to it the way they're going. I know between their team, as we're going to go back, hang on to look like this, they spent a long time working on their long run, and they haven't seen that here tonight. So if we can get a long run, those cars or trucks should come to life here. But they're 3 wide back here for 4th position, as a little bit of contact between the 89 and the 37 of Josh Childress and John Ottenbacher. He is indeed. Josh Childress is pulling away from this group, but here comes Corey Walters to the inside of John Ottenbacher, and he will get the spot. But this battle's not over by any means, as these guys are really starting to duke it out here. And currently, it may, I don't know, there it is. It is going to go to the 9 of Corey Walters. Is that outside row is fast, but I don't know just how fast it is. I don't think it has enough momentum to really make a pass on the outside. It's going to have to be on that inside lane.
Is important here at Pocono is not whether you go high or low through a corner, but getting to the throttle before the guy you are racing. You want to get on that throttle first to start gaining speed down these very long straightaways.
It does indeed, and we accidentally had your mic muted, so sorry about that. But we have it unmuted now here, as he was giving some valuable information there, and apparently we didn't want it to go through, but you're unmuted now, so we do apologize.
And we got 2 cars going around. That is the 95 of Josh Cushman and the 13 of Ryan Maines getting caught up as they come off of turn number 3.
And the 77 of Tom Green also getting into the wall after that was all said and done. So let's go back and take a look here and see what happened. And it looks like maybe the 13 got into, the 13 and the 95 getting together, Ryan Maines and Josh Cushman, and then the 77 into the outside wall. It didn't hit it that hard, it didn't look like, but he will be smoking. So 3 drivers involved in that incident. And looking there too, it did look like quite a bit of net code between the 95 and the 13. So watch it.
Under caution we go. Heavy damage involved with a lot of drivers. The 77, one of the guys I was watching, he's got heavy damage.
He does indeed, and most of that is he's having to try to fight that truck here. Most of that was from that initial impact to the inside wall. His outside wall hit was not too bad, but that inside, again, having to really try to get on the brakes to avoid them, was unable to do so, as that will bring out the caution once again. We'll bring up your race stats here. That is caution number 8. We've had 23 caution laps of the 51 completed. 6 different lead changes with a couple of different leaders. Mark Walls, Steve Silstad, Sean Brightsman, Corey Walters, Jeff Stabnow. So we've had 5 different leaders, 6 different lead changes here tonight. As again, we are under caution once again. I expect everyone to come down pit road this time, though. 13 laps on those tires. I don't think there's any question that they won't come down.
And these drivers, pretty much everyone's going to hit pit road here, especially considering we're starting to get to the point where we may have one more pit stop. Maybe somebody trying to think about, I might be able to make it the rest of the way. I really don't think anyone can from here, but you do want to set yourself up for a short pit stop if this goes green the rest of the way.
Yeah, it definitely would. As again, we'll get the green here probably a lap 54, 55. So you go ahead and say 60. Yeah, it's going to be close here. I know we heard they can make 33 laps. So they would need to come in one more time. I think we'll see another caution. If we do see one more caution, that would put them on the green side of being able to make it on fuel. So it's going to get interesting to see who comes down during that next caution, because if you have one caution, you may have another one. So do you come in on that next caution and guarantee yourself you have enough fuel, or do you risk it that there's another caution because you're probably going to want the tires regardless?
Yeah, I would pit for 4 tires, full tank of fuel at this point. We get into a long green flag run, and you feel at that chance 2 tires might be the way to go to get you to the end of the race. That could be a strategy here, but it all is dependent on how you pit right now.
Yeah, it definitely is dependent on how it all goes right now. And again, I think we'll probably see another caution. I don't think we're out of the woods just yet as far as cautions go. But again, just to give everyone another heads up on how this is all playing out here while we're still under caution. The drivers that are locked into the chase right now, that is Mark Walls, Brian Bennett, and Jeff Stabnow. They are in the green. There's no chance they can be knocked out. Actually, and say that Sean Brightsman, he started tonight. He's currently leading this race, so he's definitely in. So those 4 drivers are in. That only leaves 4 more spots for drivers to lock in. Brett Johnson, he is out. He is red. He has missed 3 races, or more than 3 races, so he is out of the playoffs or the chase, even though he has a win. So right now, this is a real close battle between Josh Coley, Brian Barnes, Chris White, and Steve Silstad. Again, those are the ones that if it started right now, if this was a chase race, they would be in. Corey Walters, John Ottenbacher, those guys, if they get a good finish, they could potentially get their way in. Corey Walters, of course, currently running back in 8th place. John Ottenbacher sitting in 7th. So they're 7th and 9th right now. So not necessarily the great finish they want. But we'll have to keep an eye on this, and hopefully we'll get a word here shortly as to when the race is over, who's in and who's out.
We are going to take the green flag on lap 55 of 90 here at Pocono. So the laps are starting to wind down. We're getting ever so close to the end of this thing. But before we do that, we still got to settle quite a bit. I mean, we are just about 10 laps past halfway. So even though we are on the downhill slide of the laps, still got a good chunk of the race ahead of us.
We do indeed. It is one of those tracks. There really is no downhill when it's this big of a track. Even the downhill is just as long as the uphill. So it's just a huge track. A lot of racing can be done on it, and it's real wide, so you don't have to worry about that too much. You have a lot of room to maneuver, but we'll find out if it's going to play out that way as the green flag is back in the air once again. We are on lap 55 of 90. Sean Brightsman now leading this race as he's led 6 laps, which a big chunk of that was, of course, under caution. And he's got his teammates behind him, Jeff Stabnow and Mark Walls. And again, the bonus points will help as the caution is, there it is coming out. And it's going to be back here for Brett Johnson in the 7.
I was rooting for Brett Johnson mainly because he's got a logo I like on his car, but looks like it's going to be a little bit harder for that 7 machine to get to victory lane here tonight.
It is indeed, and while we're going back to watch here for the 7, I don't know what happened to Josh Cushman, but he was smoking on pit road, but there's a self-spin from the 7, and everybody doing a good job of avoiding him. But go back to, again, Josh Cushman here. We will go back a little bit further as I'm not sure exactly what happened to him. But looks like possibly engine trouble for him here tonight again.
Yeah, Josh Cushman in the 95 was one of our more recent cautions. And looks like he has pulled it on pit road and called it a race.
Indeed, he was smoking before he ever got to pit road. So, again, I'm not sure what indeed happened there, but that car's smoking. So he got into somebody or somebody got into him. As we'll see if we can figure out. Right there, it just gives. I think he just has enough damage that the engine finally just gave out on him. As again, we'll go back a little bit here. Right there, he is not smoking at this point, and it will give out here in just a moment. You'll see a cloud of smoke come out, and right, and here's where it goes. I think. Well, we said it did anyway. We'll see. Trying to watch to see exactly. There it goes, a puff of smoke coming into the corner. So I think that was no deal. He just had enough damage that it was unfortunately time for that engine to expire.
Yeah, that can happen. That engine just let go.
It did, and unfortunately he has loaded it onto the trailers. Jeff Stabnow faking out his own teammate here. Oh, a very interesting call for Jeff Stabnow. He's going to stay out. We wondered if somebody would if they would come in here. We know they can't make it on fuel. So they're expecting another caution. So I think we should get Jeff Stabnow and see down here and talk to him. Hopefully he's in not in race chatter here, but if you want to pull him down real quick, we'll have a quick talk with him. Jeff Stabnow, we got you one more time. You got a copy.
I got you, man.
All right. Well, we made sure to get rid of radio chatter there for a second first this time. But
things are going good. All the good words coming out of my mouth now.
Well, we see you there faking out your own teammate here and not going down pit road. We had a debate going on if a caution was to come out. We know you can't make it on fuel. So at this point, are you counting on another caution coming out to come down pit road?
I am. We're real close, right? We can do about 31 to 33 laps on fuel. So those guys that are pitting now are going to be real close to that window being able to make it. But I think Mark and I are betting on another, and John too, betting on another caution. So we kind of did the rope-a-dope there and stayed out. None of us talked about it. We just it just kind of happened organically there. But those that are pitting, they're going to be real close on being able to make it.
We figured it would be close. I figured there would be some takers not going out. I didn't figure there would be little trickery and faking out your own teammate there. But in the end, it did happen. I had it predicted right. First off, real quick, now that things are going better, you're back on the lead lap, leading this race. How is the truck overall? It looks pretty clean.
Well, I threw some changes at it there on that last set. I was a little bit loose coming up the corner, so I threw quite a bit of wedge in it there to tighten it up. And we didn't even get to run a full lap, so I'm not sure. I'm thinking that's going to be a good change for me. If I could just get a little tighter coming off the corners, I'd be pretty good. I'm a little loose, so if that did the trick, then I think I'll be happy.
Well, we'll definitely be looking to talk to you here. Regardless whether you're in the top 3 or not, we'll probably be talking to you at least for a minute as you are locked in to the chase. And good news here is I think for the most part, most of your team is locked in too. So real quick before those lights go out and we go racing, having your whole team locked in, does it give you a little bit of an advantage?
Well, no, because we're competing with each other and we're running the same sets, right? I got an advantage if I'm probably not, if I got teammates helping me not compete. So I'm not sure there's an advantage there. And John's not locked in yet. John pretty much needs to win this race to get in. So, John's got his work cut out for him, but he's got a shot. And I don't think being teammates in, I think the white knuckle team's got 3 guys in too, pretty much, if it finishes this way. So I don't know that there's any advantage there or not. We work hard every race. We compete with each other every race. So I think it's just going to be funner with all of us going at each other.
Well, one last question before we hand it over to KR real fast. So we got probably 1 lap to go. What are you going to do on the week off? You planning on stuffing your face with some Thanksgiving food?
I think we're actually going to get a little head start on some chase sets there. We got Talladega coming up, so that gives us a couple weeks to get in there and start working on. We got a couple short tracks coming up, Iowa and Dover, and we got some big ones, Auto Club coming up, and a couple mile and a half. So we might get in there, do some tests, and start working on some sets.
Well, that just leaves more ham for me, so I'm perfectly fine with that. But you haven't got to talk to him in a while, so we're going to hand the mic over to KR, see if he's got any questions for you before we go green.
10-4.
Jeff, I got to wonder, you're going to restart this race. Coming off of turn number 3, when are you going to get on that loud pedal and disrupt everyone around you to try and trick them?
I think we're going to jump on it as soon as that pace car pulls off this time here. And, maybe there's a couple of them that listen to your broadcast, so maybe they'll get a jump with us here. But we're going to go early.
Man, I like that early start. I tend to try and go as soon as the pace car's out of my way as well. You never want to let anyone know what you're doing, so maybe switch it up. Maybe you wait for the green flag.
I just don't have enough patience.
You know what? I'll blame you for that one. Yeah, pace car's out of your way. It's time to go.
That's right.
So, all right, Jeff. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully this restart will go your way, and by the time you hit turn 1, you'll be clear of that 48.
All right, KR. Thanks, buddy.
All right, that was the 24 of Jeff Stabnow leading this race right now. He has now led 4 laps. Here is surprisingly, he's only led that many as it takes so long to get around here that you don't lead as many as you think. Normally you would think that'd be like 10 laps by now, but it's not. And again, that's strictly because this track is just so dadgum big. 2.5 miles, but it's hard to think of it as that big of a track because it's not listed as a super speedway.
Yeah, it's not listed as a super speedway because the speeds are a little low compared to something like Daytona, but pace car is off. Jeff Stabnow wasted no time. He did get on the throttle as soon as the pace car got out of his way, and it looks like a lot of the other drivers anticipated that move, and everyone's going to race down into turn number 1.
Yep, and he will clear his teammate here of the 48, and so will the 37 of Josh Childress. He's going to clear the 48 as well. Oh, contact
Mark
there.
Wall's in trouble.
Mark Wall's into the outside wall. Caution is out here with 31 laps to go. Let's go back and look here for Mark Walls. Was there contact or was it netcode? Let's go and see. I'm not sure here if we can get a good angle at this to see what it was. It's going to be a close one to tell if that was actually contact. I'm not sure if it was indeed contact or not. Oh, let's go back and see if we can figure it out one more time here. As again, I just can't find a good angle here to see. As we're on the chopper cam here, maybe we can get a good shot at this and see if we can see what happened. That was definitely netcode. So netcode bringing out the caution once again. Oh, interesting amount of cautions here tonight. As I knew we would see some probably, but I didn't expect to see this many. As we'll bring that up real quick. We've had 10 cautions here for 29 laps. That is almost unheard of here for this league.
The cautions are starting to rack up. However, we still have just under 30 laps to go. And this race isn't settled just yet. And it is really getting mixed up with these cautions because it has allowed everyone to be on the lead lap that is out there. We do have 14 cars out on track, and all 14 cars are on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's going to make it very interesting here in the closing laps. As you're right there, right at 30 to go. It's going to be less than 30 when they come to the line, but we are not going green just yet. What we do know is I expect everyone to come down pit road here and get 4 tires of fuel, but they didn't do it this time. So very surprising here. This is within the fuel window for drivers like Jeff Stabnow and pretty much everyone out there. So I thought they would come in, but Jeff Stabnow opting to stay out once again.
We have had quite a few laps under yellow, so Jeff Stabnow maybe doesn't feel the need to hit pit road. I don't blame him. I think that's a good choice. Maybe trying to get to a fuel number here where he can make a pit stop. Maybe split this up if it goes green the rest of the way, get fresh tires at some point, and really make this a very interesting race.
Yeah, indeed it is. Going to be very interesting when it's all said and done. So we're going to keep a close eye on all of the action here. As I'm just not sure who's going to potentially walk away with this. Taking a look here to see. We got Tom Green that came down. Mark Walls came down pit road. Chris White still on pit road. John Ottenbacher still on pit road. And of course, Brian Barnes has been there on pit road for a little bit too. So some drivers still on pit road getting some damage repaired, getting fuel and tires. Chris White's going to be coming back out after a 55-second pit stop here. But the majority of this field did not come down pit road. So that is good news for Jeff Stabnow that there's a lot of people thinking the same thing he is.
Yeah, that buffer of having drivers on the same pit strategy as you versus drivers who are on fresh tires, the bigger that buffer is, the better it is for you as the leader. And it takes these drivers a little bit longer to get through sometimes. I have seen them on 4 fresh tires just carve the field up and be all up in your rear bumper after about a lap.
Yeah, it is definitely possible. The question is, will that happen here tonight? We'll see. As we got a car coming behind there, flying through the field. I'm not sure. I think that's the 33 of Josh Coley. No, Josh Coley. He's sitting on third. I'm used to seeing a different color car. As I'm not sure who that. I guess that might be Brian Barnes that is coming in there. Either that or the 89, but either way, oh, there we go. So it could be the 00. He is catching up now. So a black car. It was hard to tell there. Wasn't sure who it was, but it was the 00 that was doing. And Josh Coley in the 33 having some serious connection issues here now.
Connection issues are never fun. They're always a worry among not only yourself but the drivers around you, because they have no idea at what point or where you are on the track.
Yeah, it's definitely something that can scare any driver around them. So we'll be watching to see if that gets sorted out. Hopefully it will. But right now, we have the lights still on the pace car. So we are going to step away for a quick caution here, a very quick caution, and we will be right back. Or a commercial, not a caution. For a commercial break, we'll be right back. Alright, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The green flag is back out once again, and we are racing. And it is currently Jeff Stabnow that is leading this race. Oh, will he continue to lead the race is the question, but these guys will have to come down pit road again.
We do have a few drivers blinking. Josh Coley in the 33, way up against the wall. He was blinking. The 77 having a moment himself as far as blinking. So some drivers getting into some internet issues here as we're getting into the later stages of this race.
They are indeed, and that is not what you want to see this late in the race. Mark Walls in that 48 machine used his fast repair. He's back out on the track fighting his way through this field as he's got fresher tires. So to go back to the front here, your top three are the ones that did not come down pit road. Technically, we had more than that, but those guys have 13 for laps for Jeff Stabnow, 13 for Josh Childress, and 15 for Ryan Maines. So if this thing was to go green the rest of the way, they would be in deep trouble because they would have to pit when nobody else did. Some of these guys back here with 3-4 laps on their tires probably would not have to pit. So they're going to have to take that into consideration. They're counting on another caution, though, and we probably will see another one.
I imagine so, but I do want to point out the 89 of John Ottenbacher. Right now he is riding around in 14th. That machine heavily damaged, and he is way down on speed compared to everyone else.
He is currently running 159 right there as I see smoke, and I'm not sure where it came from. I think somebody scuffed the tires there. It may have been Josh Coley who's blinking as he is having serious connection issues here tonight. Here just in the recent laps too, which is different. We didn't expect to see random connection issues, but that is just here in the later half of this race as we're on lap 67 of 90 And we got some good battles going on back here with Steve Silstad, Brett Johnson, Corey Walters, Chris White. It's a nice little group battling right here.
Good battle going on. Yellow flag going to come out once again, as it looks like Sean Brightsman in the 46. Heavy damage on that car.
Is indeed. Let's go back and take a look. Go to our main camera replay camera here, as we're on lap 68, and I'm not sure. Sean Brightsman, I think it's possible. Yes, gets to the apron, gets it a little loose, cuts it around, and spins around all by himself, and then somebody gets into him. It's Steve Silstad that just clobbers him after he's already spinning, and then the 33 blinking there just appears out of nowhere, but self-spin from the 46 and then gets hit by the 45 of Steve Silstad.
The 45 machine onto pit road. I believe he has used a fast repair already, so this could end his night. Oh no, he did just use his fast repair, so Steve Silstad gonna be able to get back out there. So great job on his part and taking care of that fast repair. He's able to use it here and get back out there.
He is indeed, so he'll come back out onto the track. We'll check in with Sean Brightsman as he's still got damage, but he has not come down pit road yet. The question is here, we're on lap 68, so we won't go racing until about lap 71, maybe 72, so we'll be less than 20 laps to go. Will Jeff Stabnow and this field come down pit road this time? I almost think they have to at this point.
I don't know.
It looks like Jeff Stabnow is committed to it, and everybody behind him is committed. Will we have somebody not coming down? And no, Steve Silstad's going to be the only one to not come down, and he is on the lead lap, so we'll see if he will take the lead. But everybody following Jeff Stabnow down pit road, no surprise there. Kind of figured they would, and right now is when you need a flawless pit stop.
Gotta have a flawless pit stop, hit that box, and get out cleanly, as it looks like we do have Mark Walls who has done just that. Mark Walls only in his pit box for 1.7 seconds. He has pulled away. It looks like everyone else is going to take tires and fuel. Mark Walls, fuel only.
And the 45 getting the note that he will get the EOL for pitting before the pits were open. So he will be back at the tail. This is going to get interesting here. We have a lot of stuff going on here. Steve Silstad, for some reason, his pit stop's only showing 0.1 second. Either he has a lightning fast pit crew or he didn't actually take a stop. We'll see. But what we do have is he is cycling back through the back here. Mark Walls, 1.7 seconds on pit road. That only means one thing. He did not take tires. Obviously, we saw him too, but he did not take tires. He was in for a splash of fuel only. And Brian Bennett, 14 second pit stop. Jeff Stabnow, 15.3. So we have 4 tires and fuel for just about actually everybody except for Mark Walls, who opted for no tires.
Mark Walls is going to be your race leader in that 48 machine. Brian Bennett in the 71 scored right behind him. And then Jeff Stabnow will round out your top 3 with Josh Childress in 4th.
And we're getting reports that there was issues for the 24 on pit road. That would explain a 15.3 second stop when everyone else running 14.0, 14.8, 14.7. So that would explain that little bit of slower stop. We'll see, though, as we will get the 20 to go this time by. We're not going to go green. We should get the 1 to go. But 20 laps to go. One thing we know, everyone's good on fuel. So if a caution does come out in these last 20 laps, you're a racer. Do you come down pit road? Do you stay out and get the track position?
It depends on how deep in the field you are. If I'm someone in the back, I'm going to do the opposite of what's going on in the front. If the leaders come down pit road, I'm going to stay out. If the leaders stay out, I'm going to come down pit road. But now, if I'm the leader, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. It depends on how I feel. I've abused my tires to hang on to this top spot. If I think I've abused them, and if my fall off is showing it, then it's time to hit pit road and get another set of tires, maybe even take 2.
It's going to be very interesting indeed. Who does what? Again, it's so tricky. And what I want to point out here, too, is, we talked about it earlier. It's been up on the screen, and we're just now going to mention it here, as this was only 4 laps ago. Mark Walls had the fastest time for quite some time with the 52.157. Just 4 laps ago, on lap 66, as we're on 70 right now, but on lap 66, a 52.008 by Jeff Stabnow. So just a few laps ago, the fastest lap was set here of the race. 66 laps into this race. You would think that would happen early in the session, but not. It is late here in the session that Jeff Stabnow has actually run the fastest lap.
A good lap turn by Jeff in that 52.008. However, lights are out on the pace car. Just having the fastest lap doesn't mean a whole lot. I will say it does mean you got to watch out for that 24 truck. He is in contention to win despite coming back from being a lap down and even cursing on the broadcast.
Yeah, and we're getting here that the 20, I believe. Let's see, the 20. We're getting the reports and we're having to go through them here. The 24 and 37 got into a slight scuffle on pit exit. That was what was causing it. So we'll see how all of this goes here as we're just getting those reports in and reading them as we get them. But like you said, lights are off and we are set to go racing. Pace car will be diving off. The question is, will it be for the last time here tonight? Something tells me I don't think we're out of the woods here for the cautions, though.
We very well could be out of the woods. These drivers could try and settle in and start letting the race unfold. However, I'm with you. We might see 1 or 2 more as these drivers start to get more desperate. Speaking of desperate, that pace car's got to make a pit stop here as it is a Ford Mustang. Green flag is out. We're back underway. That 48 machine of Mark Walls away cleanly. Brian Bennett in the 71. Got that clean air. We'll see if he can hold on to it as he is going to work his way down the front stretch and down into turn 1 we go.
We are into turn 1, and it's going to be the 48 out front, followed by the 24 of Jeff Stadnow. Brian Bennett in the 3rd place. Interesting enough, because right now 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are locked in to the chase, and they're 1, 2, and 3 in the points, and they're 1, 2, and 3 here in the races. Jeff Stabnow is going to take the lead from his teammate here in the turn, but the 71 may have something to say about it as they're side by side going down the backstretch into turn 2. Jeff Stabnow may have the advantage. We'll see as he's going to slide up, and he will take the lead here from his teammate.
Jeff Stabnow back into the front. Brian Bennett in the 71 into 2nd. Mark Wall is going to lose 2 spots in that one corner. However, he is looking like he is going to try and challenge the 71 of Bennett down this backstretch.
Yeah, it definitely is. As we'll see here and see what's going on back a little further back in this field. Not much. They're pretty single file, so we'll go back up to the front. Will Brian Bennett be able to get to Jeff Stabnow? They are on lap 73 of 90. We have less than 20 laps to go.
This race winding down now, getting very close to crunch time. A season could be made or broke here tonight. Several drivers with a race win, their only way into the chase. We got other drivers who just want to score a lot of points and come away with a good showing. And right now, the one with the best showing, that's the 24, Jeff Stabnow. He's already into the chase, but if he can win this thing, it will limit the competition, so to speak, as someone can't luck into the chase and maybe luck into beating Jeff Stabnow for a championship.
Yeah, it definitely is. And just so everyone knows, on top of their regular points they get, starts with 43 points and goes all the way down to 1 point for 43 drivers if they started. There are bonus points here that will matter in the end of this thing. Obviously, you lead a lap, you get 1. If you have a clean race, you get 1. Pole gets 1. Most laps led gets a bonus point. Right now, with 20-some laps to go, I don't think anybody can get past Mark Walls for the most laps led. However, pole ward get 1. Clean race, that's going to be hard to come by here today, I think. But lead a lap, we will have quite a few drivers that will get that.
Several drivers have been out front during various stages of the race here tonight, but only one can win it. And meanwhile, we've been having a heck of a battle in the middle of this pack here. The 00 of Chris White, a 48 of Mark Walls, Sean Brightsman, or I'm sorry, that's not Sean Brightsman. That is the 37 of Josh Childress, and the 4 of Brian Barnes. All these guys going after it here, and that's a battle for a mid-pack position.
It is indeed. They're side by side. It looks like maybe Josh Childress is going to try to get by Chris White. We'll have to wait and see if he can, but he is definitely right there trying to make a pass. He's about as far to that yellow line as you can get, trying to get to the inside, and just not happening at the moment. Meanwhile, we're 4 laps away from 10 to go, so we are very close to ending this on this race as we go back to the front. Mark Walls out front, or sorry, Mark Walls, Jeff Stabnow out front. Mark Walls, as I had him on my brain while I was thinking about him, has fallen back to 7th place. Keep in mind, he did not take tires. He went in for a splash of fuel, and it's definitely hurting him here.
Yeah, he's fallen very far back. Jeff Stabnow did take tires. Those 4 fresh tires worked to his advantage as he is now out front and looks like he is pulling away from Brian Bennett.
He's definitely pulling away here. We'll see as we're on lap 77 of 90 here tonight's race. So let's just go back here a little ways and look at this battle going on between I believe that's Chris White and Mark Walls. Looked like they were really getting together, almost scuffling it up a little bit, making contact, as they are just extremely hard battling. Neither one of them want to give up the position right now. That is 7th place.
Racing is a game or a race or a battle of inches, however you want to describe it. And with each lap, you can gain or lose an inch. If you are on the positive side, if you're on the gaining side, then that's a good move for you. We're going to see some cars go 3 wide into turn 1. They sorted out. That was Sean Brightsman, the 33 of Josh Coley, and the 7 of Brett Johnson. Now they're going to get single file coming off of turn 1, down into the tunnel turn they go.
They did indeed there for a split second go 3 wide. And we're keeping an eye on that lead battle here, but right now 0.85 second, now 1.016 seconds separate first and second. So there is just nothing going on at the front of this field right now as far as battle goes. But we'll look back here to Brian Bennett and Ryan Maines. While there's nothing at the front of this field going on, there is a battle for a second position, as it looks like Ryan Maines is going to take second place from Brian Bennett. We'll see. We haven't talked about Ryan Maines a whole lot here tonight, as he started 5th, and he's up to second place right now as he just took it, and that is his highest position too. He very well could get up there and give Jeff Stabnow a run for his money possibly.
Ryan Maines in that 13 has been a very fast truck. Has had a few issues but looks like that thing is straight. He's had to use a fast repair, I believe, already. Now that he has got a chance to get into some open air, looks like he's going to start tracking down Jeff Stabnow.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can do it is the question. Obviously, he's fast enough to get by the people behind Jeff Stabnow, but then again, so was Jeff Stabnow. That's why they're behind him. So the question is, does he have what he needs to get to Jeff Stabnow? And then does he have enough to get by him here as Jeff Stabnow is going on to the what you would call the backstretch, I guess. So when he gets to the line this time, it will be 10 laps to go. That is 10 laps for Ryan Maid to catch him. And then, well, actually, he has about probably 8 laps to catch him, if that, and then he has to pass him. So he's got to catch him and then pass him. And it is one thing to catch a driver, it's a whole different ballgame to actually pass them.
Oh, yeah. Passing a driver, especially at the end of the race, that is going to prove to be very, very difficult. But Ryan Maines feels like he's up to the challenge, but he's got to get there first.
Yeah, and to talk about a driver here real quick that's just having an outstanding race. Started 10th, fell as low as 14th, and high as 1st. That, of course, is the 46 of Sean Brightsman. He needed to start the race in order to get into the chase. He's done that and then some, sitting in 3rd place right now.
Sean Brightsman looking to add to his top 5 finishes, I guess I could say. He's doing a great job here in that 46 machine. This race has not been without its difficulty for him. In fact, it almost seems like we could go down the line here and say that almost every single driver has used their fast repair in a desperate situation.
Have, and again, watching that 13 of Ryan Maines, he is slowly but surely creeping up on the leader. He was 1.4, then he went to 1.1, now he's at 1.0, back to 1.1 again, seconds behind him. So he is slowly but surely creeping in as the 48 gets into the outside wall. The Mark Walls caution is out. This kind of shakes things up here.
This will shake things up. Now it's going to be a situation of, do you pit, do you not? And if you do pit 4 tires or 2 tires, we're going to see a lot of different stuff going on right here.
We are definitely about to see quite a bit go on as we're watching the replay camera here as Mark Walls into the outside wall and then just hammers the inside wall extremely hard. That will bring out the caution once again as we'll go back up to live. Under caution once again. We're not going to go to a commercial break because we are curious here. Will these guys come down pit road? Will they not? Will they stay out? So many different variables.
That is, that's racing for you. I mean, you can make a plan. You can have this action plan. You can be executing it perfectly. And then something will throw a wrench in it. And this could be that wrench for several of these drivers, as they're going to get one more shot at a restart here to get going back racing. So now, do you take tires or do you not? And how many?
Yeah, I if I'm the 24, maybe right sides only. I'm just not sure. Regardless, I think maybe a 2-tire stop may be warranted here, especially if you're the 24. You're already locked in. Just like the 48 here, Mark Walls, who has now packed it into the trailer and loaded it up. He's already headed to Denny's to get him some early breakfast. So his night done already, but he's locked in as well. So he's just going to call it a night and go ahead and get his Thanksgiving week started a little early.
I'd like to start my Thanksgiving week a little bit early as I'm a bit hungry myself, but race on to pit road. We're on our way for that. Jeff Stabnow going to lead these drivers down. It's all about hitting your pit stall cleanly. A good pit stop here could win the race for you.
It very well could be. And we see here that Tom Green and John Ottenbacher did not come down pit road. They can make it on fuel, but I don't know if them tires are going to hold off as Chris White overshoots his pit stall, gets a little aggressive there, has to back up. So did Steve Stilstad. And is it going to be 4 tires and fuel? And it is for Jeff Stabnow, 4 tires and fuel. And it looks like everybody's going 4 tires and fuel here, as I believe Jeff Stabnow will be the first one out of pit road.
The 24 is going to win the race off of pit road with a stellar pit stop, a 14-second pit stop compared to everyone else. The next closest one was a 14.5 by Ryan Maines. So a great job getting into his pit box and getting out.
Yeah, definitely a good job, and that's what he needed, especially this late in the race. But he's not in the lead here. Tom Green is, as Tom Green is we're looking, has not officially led a lap yet. He will be doing so when he gets to the line if he doesn't come down pit road first. John Ottenbacher staying out as well. Both of those have 15 laps on their stint. If I'm them, I'm not sure I'm coming down. If you we'll look at our chart real fast. Even though y'all can't see it out there, we can see it. Tom Green is one of those. With the win tonight, he could potentially get into the chase. John Ottenbacher, he needs a good finish to secure himself a spot. So both of these drivers have a ton on the line, and John Ottenbacher coming down. I did not think he would be coming down pit road, but he indeed is going to go ahead and come down pit road. I really figured he would stay out and try to see if he couldn't get a good finish here.
As slow as John Ottenbacher has been, I'm wondering if he's not down a cylinder and just wants to get out of the way of these drivers and let them battle for it, knowing that if he's down a cylinder, he doesn't have a shot at anything here.
Yeah, definitely is. Obviously, we're getting the report that he had a lot of damage on there. He came down for 0.3 seconds, so we'll see. He is still being shown there. There he is off of pit road. But his pit stop time not calculating properly here. But he has quite a bit of damage. Tom Green, though, is going to stay out. 15 laps on those tires now, 16. Some of those, of course, being under caution. But Tom Green right now, equivalent, not to bring another sport into this because I don't even watch it, but equivalent right now, Tom Green in that 77, this is his 4th and 30 Hail Mary he's about to throw here, and hopefully he can pull out a win, because that is what he needs to do to put that 77 into the playoffs.
Yeah, that green numbered 77. Not wanting to see all these fresh tires tucked in right behind him. He's going to be in a world of hurt by the time they get down and out of turn number 1. He's got to do all that he can. Now, on the reverse side of that, we have seen a lot of cautions. All Tom Green has to do is maybe survive till the yellow flag comes out.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. If he can get a good start, and this is what's really going to come down to, because there's a lot of drivers out here that want to get up to the front, that need good finishes. So, this is what I'm thinking, and probably what the 77 of Tom Green is thinking. These guys, all these guys behind him, every single car behind him that's on the track has fresh tires. So, they're going to be battling really hard. If you can get a good jump, there is a good possibility here that all these guys with fresh tires trying to make some last-ditch effort to get to the front could cause a big wreck here before this race is over. You have 5 laps to go. So if he can hang on to this lead until that yellow comes out, if a yellow comes out, the race is over. So he's got a very good shot at putting it in a victory lane here tonight. All he's got to do is stay ahead of them and hope and cross his fingers that Lady Luck is on his side, that these new tires get together and cause a little wreck here.
He has picked the outside lane. Jeff Stabnow on the inside here. Interesting choice. We'll see how that plays out for him. That 77 machine. I kind of been rooting for him here silently. I haven't picked him as my favorite, so he should not have a broadcaster curse. Just rooting for him as he's trying a different strategy.
He definitely is, and he'll have the advantage because he's on there. He can choose when he starts. The question is, will he start when the pace car dives off, or will he start on the green flag? Those are questions we will find out here shortly as they're in turn 3. And of course, you'll see it on the wall here in just a moment where it says what turn 4. Every time there go by it, there is no turn 4s. It's right there on the wall. We'll see. Jeff Green getting ready to take the green flag here. Space car dives off. Green flag is in the air, and he gets a good jump. That's what he needed. Now he's just got to hope that these old tires will hang on and that these guys will cause a big wreck back here in a pile-up, and he can hold on to the win.
Jeff Green gonna dive down into turn number 1 with Jeff Stabnow on his inside. Green overshoots turn 1 into the outside wall. Hard contact with that, and everything he gambled, he's thrown away in one corner.
He has indeed, and I would imagine that he went in as hard as he could, and those tires just did not stick. He went straight to the outside wall as if he was on ice, and that's unfortunate. 4 laps to go now. Jeff Stabnow back out front. He has led 26 laps. Even though Mark Walls is out of this race, he has secured the most laps led. We're coming up on 3 to go. Big wreck's out. Caution is out, and it's going to involve several drivers. So let's go back and take a look. Well, the 71 and the 37 involved. What brought it out here is we're watching the replay camera here to see exactly what happened. And I'm not sure if it started with these guys. Oh, the 37 goes below the apron there and ends up coming up into the 71. And I'm not sure who else that was that got involved, but that was the 89 of John Ottenbacher that gave a piece of the action as well.
John Ottenbacher already struggling to try and finish this race. Didn't help that he had to bounce off the wall to try and miss a car. And then not only did he bounce off the wall to miss a car, he still hit the car he wanted to miss. So more damage on that machine. I got to tell you, John Ottenbacher's probably going to be ecstatic that this race is over.
Yeah, I definitely think he will be as well. As that will bring out the caution once again. We'll go ahead and bring that up real quick. That is our 13th caution of the night here for 40 laps, so a ton of cautions here tonight. Very unlike this group of guys to bring this many cautions out. Not to mention the fact that we've been here for almost 3 hours for the broadcast. This is probably by far the longest broadcast we've seen here for the Northwest. Usually they wrap them up pretty quickly, but cautions have gone rampant here tonight.
Pocono can go either way. You can have some great long green flag runs, or you can have a caution-filled event. And tonight it has been a caution-filled one, but that has not pulled away from the fact that these drivers have all been racing hard and nobody has really given up. Minus the cars that have just been too damaged to continue, everyone is still out there. The only 2 drivers are Mark Walls and Josh Cushman, and those guys heavy damage and unable to continue. They are 14th and 15th.
Yeah, and of course Dan West Jr. didn't start here tonight. It is 2 laps to go. It'll be 1 to go when they come to the line this time by. So unfortunate that is the way it goes. But sometimes it is, and we're getting reports that John Ottenbacher's engine has expired, and so he is, of course, sitting on pit road now.
John Ottenbacher very slowly working his way onto pit road. That thing is done for the night.
It is indeed, and we're coming to 1 to go. Again, they're only in turn 2, so Of course, we'll go ahead and get it out of the way. Your one to go lap is, of course, presented by Northwest Racing Series. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap this up here and talk to your top 3 drivers and go over your official or unofficial race results. So we'll be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Is this just a formality now for the 24 of Jeff Stabnow to come to the line? As you can see, we have your running order up there. That is officially how they are going to come across the line, unless something happens to somebody in between there. Again, that is your current running orders. We're here under caution at the moment as they're coming to the line. We'll go ahead and get rid of your running order here tonight. Oops, so we'll hit the right button. There we go. And that is going to do it. It's going to be Jeff Stabnow bringing it home in victory lane here tonight, as we will go ahead and put your results ticker up on there so you can see exactly where everybody finished here tonight. As we are going to actually, hang on, get rid of that. We're going to switch over to our normal interval real fast, and we'll go ahead and go through your unofficial race results here for tonight. We'll pull that up. There it is. Getting the win here tonight is going to be the 24 Jeff Stabnow, followed by the 33 of Josh Colian. Second, for third place will be Sean Brightsman. In the 46, fourth place will be the 13 of Ryan Maines, and fifth place will go to the 45 of Steve Stillstad. Sixth place will go to Brett Johnson. Seventh place, Corey Walters. Eighth place, Brian Barnes. Ninth place, Chris White. And 10th place will go to Tom Green, who gambled there at the end. And unfortunately, it just didn't pay off for him here in the end of things. In 11th place will be Brian Bennett. 12th place is Josh Childress. 13th, John Ottenbacher. 14th, Mark Walls. And rounding out your 15th spot here tonight will be Josh Cushman. Dan West Jr. back in 16th place. He did not start here tonight. So unfortunate for him, he didn't start, but we'll go ahead and put your result sticker back up and give us just a minute. We'll be right back with your top 3 interviews here in your post-race show.
not afraid to fall. Had to cut a man down to get where I am. But someone had to tumble and someone had to stand. Don't try to fight, there's nothing you can do. I'm gonna run all over you. It's too late to try, there's nothing you can do. I'm gonna run all over you. I'm looking for new blood, and nothing's gonna stop me now. Yeah, I'm looking for new blood, and nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna stop me. Looking for new blood.
All right, folks, back here just for a moment. Don't go anywhere. We are going to be talking to your top three, and we are going to be getting the points sorted out so we know who all is in the top 8 in the standings here for the chase. So, again, don't go anywhere. We will be back here in just a moment. They're getting that sorted out. Probably take them a minute to maybe 3 minutes tops. So, again, don't go anywhere because we will be right back. And we'll let you know who's in, who's out, and all of that good, juicy detail stuff coming up here in just a minute. All right, we are back here as we have second and third with us. First is up there taking care of whatever it is Jeff does. I'm just kidding. He's getting the points sorted out for us here for tonight. Coming in third place here tonight, needed to at least start the race to be locked in to the chase, and he did that and then some. Started 10th, fell as low as 14th, went as high as first, finished third, and ended up leading 7 laps here tonight, and that is, of course, the 46 of Sean Breitzman. So first off, congrats on third place. You're locked in to the chase. So how does it feel to know you're locked in and now you can go eat some turkey and ham and all that good stuff and take a week off?
It feels great. Obviously, starting the race locked me in, and being able to not have to worry about points or wrecks or anything like that really made this race a little bit easier to bear.
Although we have to bring up those tough questions here because that's our job here at VRN. So quite a long race, almost 3 hours. So did the cautions help kind of break it up, or was it actually pretty tiring out there for such a long race?
It was pretty brutal. I wish we could have definitely ran a lot more green flag laps, but we all kind of took our gloves off and decided to fight. So
Well, definitely gloves were off, and if they weren't off yet, they're going to be here in 2 weeks. As then we're just going to have a bunch of fat people with gloves off after Thanksgiving, so that should be interesting. But overall, we'll shorten this one here because we are going to be kind of talking to everyone here, at least who we can in a moment, just to get a little introduction. So we'll let you do your sponsor shout-outs and just any shout-outs out there for anyone watching before we move to second place.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Walls Beard Co., Wicked Chassis Racing, and thank all the veterans out there. We just had Veterans Day, so big shout out to all those that don't get the recognition every day, or just the simple thank you. Thank you for your service and everything you've done for this country and for all of our freedoms. So thank you very much.
All right, congrats on a third. Moving to second place as we're moving back up here, a little echo there. Josh Coley finishing in second place here. That was your highest all day. You started 13th, and let's see, I don't think you led any laps, didn't lead any laps here tonight, but finished in second place. So first off, after quite a few cautions here tonight, how was it to finish in second, gaining 11 spots here tonight, fighting your way through this field?
Yeah, I'm real happy with the finish. I didn't really expect to be up there. You know, it was just kind of some luck that went my way and the pit stops and yeah, it was pretty cool to be up there at the end.
Well, definitely interesting how it all played out here for you, and we'll have to get those from Jeff here, as we will be getting those probably momentarily. At least we'll see. We're checking the point standings here, and it looks like unless they have any changes to them, they are showing as of race 12, which would have been tonight. But if those are correct, I believe you should be in, possibly. I don't know. We'll get that confirmation here shortly. But back to the actual racing stuff here. Same kind of question. You had a great race here. You finished in second, but you have a week off for Thanksgiving. So what is going to be your focus during this off week? Is it going to be eating as much turkey and ham and mac and cheese and all that? Or are you going to take that week to start working on a setup for the upcoming race or two and get a head start on that?
Well, we've kind of already got a start on that, so we're feeling pretty good about that. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy the turkey.
Well, nothing wrong with that, taking a week off and actually relaxing for a little bit. So definitely awesome job there on second place, and we'll look forward to seeing how it all works out here for you, and we'll make that announcement here shortly, and that will bring us to our first place driver. Actually, we almost forgot to give you a chance to do your sponsor shout-outs and any shout-outs out there and watching. So who would those be before we move on to first place?
Yeah, I got CRT, small engine repair on the truck tonight, so it's cool to finish well for them. And then my mom actually said she was going to be watching on YouTube tonight, so hi, Mom. And then I want to thank Walls Beard Co. and VRN for putting on an awesome league to run in.
Definitely, we're glad to be here. And that brings us to our race winner here tonight. He was already locked in to the chase, and he finishes first. Fell as low as 15th here tonight, one lap down, got his lap back. And then we heard reports of an incident on pit road there at one point, and again started fourth, but got the win. That is the 24 of Jeff, as I would go back way back when we first came on here, Jeff, I don't win races stab now, winning yet another race and securing some more points to that chase coming in 2 weeks. So first off, how does it feel to be back in victory lane, and are you looking forward to the chase?
Oh, it feels great to be in victory lane, man. It's just, we kind of had a little breakthrough on some races last year, but this year we just got a lot more and better drivers coming in, so it's even harder to get a win. So always great to be in victory lane. Needed that bonus point to catch some of these other guys because that'll carry over into all the chase rounds. So big bonus point there. That's great, and excited for the chase.
Well, definitely, we are looking forward to the chase. And speaking of the chase, that's what we were waiting on. Is the keeper of those chase points is yourself. So we see that the point standings there show race 12 of 22. So are those accurate with bonuses and everything?
Well, obviously, we've got a win in your in component and bonuses. I've got to go check and make sure. Sometimes Dan Lisa struggles with penalty points and things like that. So unofficially, I can tell you, Mark Walls, Brian Bennett, Sean Brightsman, myself are all in on wins. So that's official. Josh Coley, Brian Barnes, I'm pretty confident officially made it in on wins. And then Chris White and Steve Sealstead, or made it in on points, I'm sorry. And then Chris White and Steve Sealstead came in. Actually, Steve Sealstead came in 7th. I got Chris White in the 8th spot, 3 points ahead of Corey Walters. It's close enough that we'll do a couple of recounts, but looks like Chris White got the last spot by 3 points over Corey Walters, and Steve Sealstead looks to have a 6-point cushion.
All right, so we're going to pull a Florida here and do a recount. Obviously, you want to make sure all those points are correct. And we'll talk to these drivers here in a minute to see if some of them want to come up. And we'll do our typical introduction of everyone. If they want to come up here and do that, we can. So that will be part of the extended show. But back to the race itself here. Kind of an up and down night for you. As we heard some in-car radio earlier tonight. But overall, you didn't have as much to lose. But you wanted those bonus points, and you got them here tonight. So, obviously, going through the ups and downs, it was a good night. So, go us through, go back to when you were a lap down, getting that lap back. What was it like trying to fight through this field and then getting that lucky dog?
Well, first and foremost, I want to apologize to anybody that caught that colorful language there. We try to keep this PG. We got a lot of people, family, kids, things like that watch us. I was in the middle of a conversation when I got sucked in, and I feel terrible about that. So apologies to anybody that caught that. I wish I could take that back, but it's out there. As far as going back to being a lap down there and then coming through, we had to ride around and back, and you burn that fast repair early, so I had to kind of ride around and wait for that caution to hit and get the lucky dog, and got a little nervous. Thought we were going to go green for a while there because that was one of our longer runs actually, and once we got the lucky dog, I got a couple quick cautions and was able to do a couple 2-tire pit stops to cycle up front, and I think the cautions just fell right because. Then I was able to cycle and get on even tires and all that stuff. And then I think the last time we talked to you, I said I made an adjustment, and that adjustment really gave me kind of a rocket ship there on the short run. And that's kind of all we had there at the end. So I was able to bust out the leads and kind of hold them off. Good pit stops, some lucky strategy, some good strategy, and a couple good changes, and fantastic run up there with the buddies and everybody, and coming away with the win.
Well, you definitely did. And, of course, we will give you a chance to thank all your sponsors and shout-outs here for those people watching. And we'll just cue that Grammy music.
Well, first of all, we had kind of everybody pitched in to sponsor the race tonight. We had Wells Beard Co., VRS, and the North Race Racing Series. With a thanks to the troops here in honor of Veterans Day. We've got several veterans racing in this league. We've got some that have some struggles. So I think this is one of those holidays that's probably more meaningful to the guys in this league than any other. Help any of them with their struggles here if they're having them. So I think that's first and foremost tonight. And then kind of in the spirit of that, we got some guys that could have been able to make it, been having a few problems. I know Carl Burke hasn't been here all season. He's had some health problems, pretty major health problems. So I don't know if Carl watches any of these, but if by chance he does, just want him to know that we've been talking about him all season, not forgotten. We were wondering for a long time what happened until we finally found out. So, Carl, I think I speak for the entire league here when I tell you our thoughts and prayers are with you, and we can't wait for you to get healthy and get back. Along that note, we got Andy Vogt. I'm not sure exactly what's keeping him from being able to race, but he's out right now too, and so we wish Andy Vogt nothing but the best. He's been in this league since it started. I think as a matter of fact, I think he had the most races of anybody that actually in the league. So big shout out to Andy Vogt. Ray Fournier, he does so much for this crew. He likes to post video montages and different screenshots of stuff for everybody on Facebook and everything. And he's been having some computer problems, and so Ray, we miss you, and can't wait to have you back. But those are three pretty important guys to this league that, and William Fletcher too. I know he's had a few issues here lately and wasn't able to make the race again tonight too. So actually 4 guys there that I'm sure there's more, but a couple of them, I'm sure really wanted to be here tonight. So big shout out to them, and I think we'll just leave it at that tonight, Charles. I think that covers it.
All right, that just about covers it. I don't know what happened earlier. I got moved to the driver's lobby somehow randomly, but something going on there with TeamSpeak. But that will do it here for the 24 of Jeff Stadnell. So don't go. We'll be right back one last time before we go over the sponsors and stuff. We are going to pull the drivers up here, give them a chance to introduce themselves, their car number, and their sponsors for the drivers that are in the chase, at least the ones we have anyway. And it looks like they are just about pulled up here. And again, we won't make this really long. It'll just be their name, car number, and sponsor for the race, for their car, because we are coming out with a cool little video next Wednesday, which will explain more after this little introduction here. But we'll just go down in order here, starting right below me here in the booth. So we'll start with Jeff, and then when he's done, we'll go to Sean, and we'll just let y'all take over there. As soon as they're done, you can announce it. So, Jeff, we'll turn it over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charles. Jeff Stabnow. I run the number 24 truck, and Walls Beardco and VRN are my sponsors.
Number 46, Sean Brightsman in the Walls Beardco Toyota Tundra for Wicked Chassis Racing.
Steve Sealstead in the number 45 Chevy Silverado for Wicked Chassis. Oh gosh, now I'm getting my team mixed up. White Knuckle Racing.
You can join us.
Props to those guys for putting everything on. But yeah. White Knuckle Racing, Spectrix, Apocalypse Auto, Silverado.
Brian Bennett, number 71, White Knuckle Racing.
Yeah, Chris White in the 00 Chevy Silverado for SimStar Motorsports.
Josh Coley, number 33 Chevy Silverado, White Knuckle Racing, and CRT Small Engine Repair.
All right. Well, that clearly wasn't 8 people, but we'll have the more coming here, as we, of course, don't have all of them in here. Some of them had to get off and get ready for tomorrow, as it is a work day. But before we sign off here for tonight, we want to thank all of the sponsors here for tonight's race. Of course, VRN coming on board here for 2018 Season 2, and pulling double duty, that is Walls Beardco Beard Balm. Make sure you check them out, especially here in the month of November, as it, of course, is No Shave November. Again, all natural and organic products. Check them out, wallsbeardco.com, and pick up some of that great product today. Northwest Racing Series, your official one-to-go sponsor here for tonight's race. Obviously, we cover them here tonight and on Monday night as well for the Xfinity Series, so make sure you check them out here on Virtual Racing Network. Ohio IndyCar League. If you're looking to get into some IndyCar racing, there is no better place to do so than Ohio IndyCar League. Check them out get all the latest information on Facebook at facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League. SimSpeedShop.com, your one-stop shop for button boxes and e-brakes. So make sure you check them out. Those button boxes are a great, handy tool to have for all our racers. And, of course, those e-brakes for you rallycross racers. With an ever-expanding list of rallycross tracks, they are a must for all rallycross racers. And last but not least, of course, that is iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, your sim race broadcast graphic source. We use them here at VRN. As you see, new little additions that came to the overlays tonight. So if you're looking to get into broadcasting or just need some overlays made for iRacing to stream your racing career here on iRacing, check Jason Allison out at ibog.co to get started. That will do it, of course, here for tonight's race. We will see you at the next broadcast, which will be Sunday for the Race Core Series, as we are off. Actually, Saturday, correction. We have a one-off race on Saturday, so we have the next 2 days off, so we'll see you on Saturday and Sunday.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be used in any form without the authorized written consent of Virtual Racing Network. VRN would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.